Picture this dude just sitting by his sister's hospital bed while she's completely knocked out in a coma. Why is she laid up? Some top-tier S-rank hero messed up mid-battle, and she caught the crossfire. Obviously, Yangjai is fuming. Bro was completely normal before, but he suddenly unlocks this totally busted power. Honestly, it feels like destiny basically handing him a payback ticket. Out in the hallway, his dad is going ballistic. The so-called hero actually sent some corporate lackey offering 100 grand to cover her treatment. His pop totally wasn't buying that garbage, demanding actual accountability and begging the dude to show his face to say sorry. That's when our boy steps up. He agrees to grab the cash, but demands a face-to-face apology, which the suit immediately shuts down as a hard no. Catching that vibe, our main guy just smirks. So this is the true color of these hyped-up superstars, right? Whatever, the funds will do. He calms his dad down, saying Faye literally needs the cash for meds, but promises he's taking this payback mission solo. Sounds way too crazy for some random weak kid to pull off, right? Well, plot twist, neither the corporate goons nor his old man have any clue that our dude is far from basic. He literally just tapped into an incredibly broken skill, straight up swiping other people's powers for himself. Bro already gave it a test run on his sis, and it was a flawless victory. By the time that suit finally bounced from the ward, night had already fallen. The lackey dials up his boss, bragging about closing the deal, even though he had to drop an extra 100,000 just to shut them up. Junior literally brushes off the 100 grand like it's pocket change, hyping up lawyer Wang and promising to have his assistant wire the funds soon. Call drops. Wang mutters about how much these capes love lounging around, secretly wishing he could unlock his own superpowers too. Our boy heads back into the room to check on his sis. He whispers to Fei, begging her not to be mad about him taking the settlement. She gets how broke they are anyway, but he swears she has zero to stress about because he's hunting down the real story. No shot. This whole tragedy was just an accident. A lot of these super-powered phonies are absolute trash, and he's about to flip the system entirely. Meet Yangjai, a rookie journalist whose whole life just got wrecked by collateral damage from some A-tier hotshot. With his sister Fei down for the count, he packed up, ditched his folks, and relocated to the Mingyu district to kickstart his master plan. He arrives at the fresh digs and instantly bumps into two female roommates. One waves and introduces herself as Ding Lan. She points out Jaiwu chilling on the couch, mentioning they've got a third housemate who's currently MIA. The couch girl gives a quick nod, while the first one asks for his name. So our guy drops his intro. Ding Lan gets all hyped, saying they basically never get new roommates anymore, and suggests throwing a mini welcome party. The freshman roomie chimes in that she's stuck grinding at the library tonight and passes on the plans, while our dude straight up declines the party offer and heads to his door. Bro was super drained from the move and just desperately wanted to crash. Shutting his door, he face plants onto the mattress and instantly pulls out his smartphone. Clips of Soup's brawling beasts are practically breaking the internet right now, flooding the algorithm with deep dives on how their powers actually work. Nobody really knows when the madness kicked off, but creepy black rifts started popping up globally, spitting out straight-up nightmare creatures. Humanity basically only survived this apocalypse because random people started waking up with superpowers and playing savior. Obviously, to stop these heavy hitters from just going rogue and ruining everything, the government dropped a strict mandate: you literally can't flex your powers legally unless you ace the exam and snag an official hero license. Our boy pulls up a specific clip, instantly recognizing the exact chaotic brawl that landed his little sis in the ICU. Letting out a massive sigh, he admits he hasn't spotted any sketchy details yet, deciding to re-watch it the next day before glancing at the clock in pure shock. Like, what? It's already 2:30 in the morning. Bro realizes he needs to speedrun his nighttime routine because tomorrow's schedule is absolutely packed. Stepping into the hallway, he spots a totally wasted chick and instantly figures this has to be the MIA roommate. He tries dropping a friendly hey, but she just slurs out a request for him to move so she can hit the bathroom. She stumbles in, completely throws up her guts, and literally passes out on the floor. Our dude cautiously creeps over to check on her, debating if he should drag her up. She suddenly mumbles that guys really shouldn't be creeping on girls when they're this blasted. Taking the hint, he pivots straight to Ding Lan's door, giving it a quick rap until she peeks out. She squints at him, super confused about why he's still roaming around the apartment at this crazy hour. He says, "My bad for waking her," pointing out the third roomie is currently passed out by the toilet, and begs her to handle it since it'd be weird for a dude to intervene. But Ding Lan literally shrugs it off, telling him to just abandon her there since it's practically a regular occurrence. Complaining about her early morning shift, she tells him to go to sleep and just straight up slams the door in his face. Guess he's riding solo on rescue duty tonight. He circles back to the wasted girl, asking if she can stand, but gets absolute dead silence in return. "My bad," Yangjai whispered, scooping her up. Instantly, a system alert popped up in his vision. A brain overload skill had just been scanned. Wait, so this girl was actually an awakened user too? The interface flashed the full specs. It was an F-tier power, literally just called brain overload. Basically, it redlines your mind for a quick minute, massively boosting your processing speed and logic. It had solid potential, though she was completely clueless that she even had powers. Gently tossing his jacket over her sleeping form on the couch, Yangjai smirked. She really thought her genius was totally natural. With proper studying, she'd totally dominate. He was still snatching her skill, but he promised to make it up to her down the line. A ding confirmed the skill swipe was a success. He honestly couldn't wait to see how it felt. Since his new loot and his psychic strike were both mind-based, the system asked if he wanted to fuse them. He smashed the confirm button without hesitation, and a moment later, the fusion was completely done. It upgraded into a wicked D+ tier skill, now known as Superb Brain. The new specs? Auto-firing psychic hits mixed with insane analytical and deduction speeds. As for the rating, it was totally a double-edged sword that needed some seriously careful handling. Processing that, he figured he could finally spot clues in the footage of Yangjai's accident. Fast forward to the next morning, a knock woke him up. Groaning, he called out to ask who it was, only to swing the door open and find that same girl standing there. She handed back the jacket he'd tossed over her, thanking him for the rescue. She introduced herself as Lin Nu. Grabbing the jacket, he couldn't help but notice how totally different and innocent she looked in the daylight. Brushing it off as no big deal, he told her he was just doing the right thing and dropped his name, Yang 11. Then it hit him. He had totally jacked her power while she was out, even though she'd been utterly oblivious to having one. Playing it cool, he asked if she was feeling all right or hurting anywhere. Lin Nu just flashed a sweet smile and said she felt perfectly fine. "Honestly, I'm super used to it, so please don't stress over me at all." Suddenly, a dude crashed into the apartment, teasing him about his living situation. Spotting the girl, he immediately accused Yangjai of secretly bagging a girlfriend. "Shut up, dude," Yangjai snapped back. "This is literally just my neighbor, Lin Niku." The guy was absolutely shook, regretting his own impulsive choice to rent a whole pricey place when shared spots had perks like this. Quickly fixing his hair to look cool, he introduced himself to her as Fan Ping, Yangjai's buddy and coworker. She gave him a polite handshake and sweetly told him he could just call her Niku. Flexing a bit, Fan Ping bragged about being an awakened user whose hands worked like built-in cameras, offering her a free photo shoot anytime. Yangjai totally cut him off, explaining to Lin Nu that his buddy was actually just there to drag him to the publishing office. They really needed to hit the road and head into work together. Fan Ping whined about being interrupted and asked what the rush was. Later at the Lugan publishing gig, Yangjai pulled up that accident footage once more. Firing up his brand new superb brain skill, he kept looping the clip, letting his enhanced mind break it down. Glued to the screen, he muttered about a super sketchy movement, but Fan Ping rudely broke his focus again. Elbowing him in the ribs, his friend wanted to know why he was totally avoiding shooting his shot with girls, especially an absolute stunner like Lin Nu, adding that he'd totally make a move if Yangjai didn't. Rolling his eyes, Yangjai warned his buddy to chill since they were literally just neighbors. Fan Ping just smirked, joking that jumping from next-door neighbors to a sneaky link was the easiest thing ever. He even offered some unsolicited dating advice. But a sudden wave of terrified screaming outside completely cut him off. Jumping out of their seats, they rushed to the glass. A legit monster was out there, a massive one-eyed assassin. Emergency sirens blared as the city's warning system blasted the monster threat level to the public. The broadcast urged everyone to scramble to the closest bunkers while backup was en route. Suddenly, a flashy hero dropped in, shouting for everyone to stay cool, because the legendary hero known as Spicy and Sour Noodles had officially arrived on the scene. He dramatically swore he'd never let anything wreck the city of Lugano on his watch. The crowd went absolutely wild, cheering for their favorite B-tier savior and believing they were totally safe now. Up in the office, Fan Ping zoomed in with his hand camera skill and noticed this boss-level beast had crazy high armor. Plus, it packed insane close combat skills. Even 18 elite spiders would struggle against it, meaning the noodle dude was probably about to get wrecked. He spun around to relay the bad news to his buddy, only to find thin air. "Damn, that dude dips fast," he muttered to himself. He kept staring out the glass, muttering about how fragile regular humans were, and how it was the perfect moment to cash in on his powers. Meanwhile, Fiery Butterfly touched down on the scene, checking in with the veteran hero to see if he needed some backup. The pro hero, Hot and Sour Noodle, told her timing was flawless. She needed to pin the beast down so he could strike. She gave him a quick nod. The official hero livestream was already rolling, anchored by our usual duo, Director G and Mao Huang. The director pointed out that our noodle-themed brawler actually started his career as a total show-off who only cared about himself. Mao Huang totally called him out, asking why he was roasting the guy on live TV. G explained the catch. The dude literally has to slurp down a bowl of hot and sour noodles to trigger his powers. Because of that prep time, he's notorious for swooping in to steal the final blow right after everyone else does the heavy lifting. Laughing it off, Mao praised the director for always dropping the juiciest behind-the-scenes gossip. G shushed him instantly, demanding they focus on the stream since the showdown was still raging on. Down on the street, Butterfly yelled at Noodle to get out of her line of fire. She unleashed an absolute blast of energy at the creature, while the casters went wild over the combo. Mao hyped up the finishing move, but G quickly shut that down, warning that it wasn't over yet. Stunned, Mao asked for the logic there. G simply noted the beast was highly intelligent and hadn't flinched once during the assault. The second the flames cleared and she dropped her hands, the whole chat realized the beast wasn't just alive, it didn't have a single scratch on it. Our noodle hero panicked, shouting that the freak had mutated a massive heat-resistant barrier. Totally crushed, Butterfly begged him to buy them some time, knowing backup was still miles away. Right then, a harsh flashback hit him. Swent, Loke, a brutal backstage chat he had with management. The boss had made it crystal clear that his hero rankings were hanging by a thread. If he ever wanted to hit top-tier influencer status, taking a loss was completely off the table. One single slip-up, and they would completely defund him, giving all his brand deals to the new rookies. That reality check terrified him down to his core. There was absolutely no way he was letting some newbie steal his spotlight. He had to hold his ground. Desperate, he popped a super sketchy pill. From the sidelines, Yangjai realized he totally recognized that weird blue capsule. Suddenly, the beast snatched Butterfly right out of the air. She started screaming his name for a rescue. The stream zoomed right in on her getting crushed, and the live chat completely exploded with panic. User 3 Lives 3 Idiots spammed the chat, reminding everyone the noodle guy only has a 15-minute buff window. Another viewer named Yinpoopoo typed in all caps, begging literally any hero to swoop in and save her. Back at the disaster zone, Butterfly thrashed wildly in the creature's grip, sobbing that she wasn't ready to die. Out of nowhere, Noodle Man ripped the tentacle clean off, dropping her safely to the ground. Up in the booth, Mao slammed his desk so hard the mic peaked, screaming that the clutch save was legendary. He hyped up how the guy shattered his own 15-minute limit, hitting power levels they had never even seen. Literally jumping out of his seat, Mao cheered that the old man still had plenty of gas left in the tank. He stayed icy cool, murmuring that this massive power spike made zero sense. But a totally hyped Mao cut him off, yelling about the monster rushing our boy. Ignoring the broadcast, Noodle squared up right in the Cyclops' face, announcing playtime was officially over. The giant eye beast lashed out, launching every single whip straight for his chest, but he caught them barehanded, taunting its weak offense right before a concrete avalanche buried him alive. A split second later, he exploded from the rubble, ripping those appendages to absolute shreds. The monster flatlined, but Noodle was completely spent. Coughing up blood, he just collapsed onto the pavement. Butterfly sprinted over, but froze when he looked up. She was absolutely terrified of his face. That cursed pill. Grabbing his arm, she desperately asked what on earth the drug was doing to his body. Spicy Noodle Guy knew he had to chill out. He flashed Fire Butterfly a grin, swearing he was completely fine. Dude just burned through way too much energy. Fire Butterfly straight up told him he terrified her. The crowd was going absolutely wild. People were screaming about how insanely clutch the heroes were. They kept hyping up Spicy Noodle Guy, while literally everyone else started throwing out love confessions to Fire Butterfly. Hanging back from a distance, Yangjai watched the whole scene, figuring the crazy drama was finally wrapped up. He had to get a news drop ready once he got back, totally forgetting about that sketchy blue pill. Peeking at the dead Cyclops monster, he noticed a mini version popping out. Yangjai was shook, wondering if it was a baby killer or a clone. The tiny Cyclops was super triggered. It crawled right out of the giant corpse and charged straight at Yangjai. Seeing it bolt his way, Yangjai figured physical and magic attacks were useless, making mind games its only real weakness. The little freak swore it would totally wreck Spicy Noodle Guy once it found its master and soaked up enough power. Spotting Yangjai, The mini assassin creepily muttered about how delicious this dude looked. He basically decided right then to make the guy his new host. Yangjai stared at it, asking if it literally just delivered itself. He pushed up his glasses, smirking that its powers were his now. Just like that, he snagged the tiny killer's powers, leaving the creepy thing totally lifeless on the ground. Catching that vibe, Fire Butterfly whipped around, totally sensing someone flexing their powers nearby, scooping up the mini monster's body. Yangjai mumbled that he was lucky it was just some trash tier clone. Even with a psychic weakness, a weak D+ tier brain blast wouldn't normally one-shot it. He then started draining its skill. The moment he pulled the power, a system alert popped up, granting him a solid B rank fire shield. The stats said it blocked any flames under B rank and gave a massive boost to his physical armor, a totally overpowered tank move. Reading it over, Yangjai realized it acted like an invisible force field wrapped right around him. People always say that no matter how busted a skill is, there's always some glaring flaw. But honestly, that basic superhero logic didn't even apply to his crazy self. Meanwhile, Fire Butterfly started snooping around, calling out. Yangjai ducked behind a wall, deciding he wasn't ready for a big reveal yet. She touched down right near his spot, whispering to herself about how weird the whole thing felt. She definitely felt a massive psychic spike and knew someone was lurking. Then a guy stepped out, casually asking if she was searching for him. Spinning around, Fire Butterfly immediately demanded to know what kind of power he was just flexing. The dude walked closer. It was totally Yangjai, rocking a mask so the hero chick wouldn't guess his identity. She asked if he was secretly a superhero too, since she had literally never seen him around before. Tossing the tiny Cyclops corpse right at her boots, Yangjai just shrugged, claiming he was a random dude doing cleanup. Looking down at the gross little body, she gasped, asking if it was a carbon copy of the Cyclops freak. She was completely mind-blown that some random civilian could effortlessly one-shot such a psycho beast. Honestly, it was super illegal for him to just bust out powers without an official license. Yangjai tried to just ghost her, but she blocked his path, demanding he hit up Hero HQ for illegal quirk usage. Staring her down, Yangjai challenged her, asking if she seriously thought she could hold him back. That totally set her off. She fired back, saying he was literally breaking every power regulation in the book. Legally, she could totally bust him right there. Still chilling, Yangjai mocked her, asking if this was how heroes bullied regular folks. Out of nowhere, he snatched one of her tiny flaming bugs and completely squashed it in his fist. He breezed right by her, tossing back a cold question about whether he should throw a punch next. Freaking out completely, she scrambled into the sky, screaming out apologies and taking all the blame. She literally begged for her life. As she bolted, Yangjai mumbled about how these caped heroes were all tangled up with spicy noodles and those weird blue pills. Whatever that other cape was pulling on the ice a few days ago had to be the exact same sketchy deal. Yanking off his mask, he swore he'd expose the whole conspiracy. By nightfall, he was already cruising on the Luhansk subway. Chilling on the train, he figured he'd pause his power grinding and purely focus on leveling up his mind reset trick. He desperately needed the tea on those blue pills. Suddenly, some random dude bumped into him with a quick sorry. After the guy slipped away, Yangjai tapped the empty seat next to him, realizing he totally just got robbed. Did somebody seriously jack his stuff? He hopped straight up, scanning the train like a madman. Bro, who took the giant chicken suit? He whispered. Was Jacket Dude the actual culprit? Had the guy literally vanished into thin air before they even hit the next stop? No way he dipped that fast. Maybe he was rocking some invisible powers? But nah, his scent would still be lingering, right? Yangjai triggered his mental reset skill to crank his senses all the way up to max. Boom, instant clarity. His bag scent was definitely trailing off that random guy, even though his whole outfit and vibe were totally switched up. Makes sense now, bro wasn't invisible. He was just shape-shifting or swapping his look on the fly. Yangjai gave a sneaky little grin. Free power-up basically falling into my lap? Bet. He kept tailing the dude right after stepping off the train. The thief was out there whispering, "Major payday today," while completely clueless about why he was suddenly sweating bullets. Glancing back, the guy locked eyes with Yangjai, who just hit him with a super casual little wave. Panicking, the thief wondered how on earth he got sniffed out. "Hold up right there," Yangjai yelled. Bro just bolted, grumbling about his terrible luck today, and sprinted straight into a public restroom to lay low. Yangjai cornered him in seconds, teasing, "Really? Pulling a basic scrub move and hiding in the stalls because you are scared? Get out here now," he demanded. But flicking the bathroom lights on revealed absolutely nobody inside. Wait, did this creep seriously duck into the ladies' room? Yangjai walked right over to the women's side to check. He banged on one of the closed stall doors, telling him the game was totally over and to step outside. The guy inside literally tried calling Yangjai a creep, faking outrage. Stepping onto the floor tiles, Yangjai sighed. Guess we are doing this the messy way, huh? He completely Sparta-kicked the door wide open, while the guy shrieked at the top of his lungs about a stalker. The dude started aggressively chucking toilet paper rolls at him. Brushing the tissue off, Yangjai realized how crazy this skill actually was. It totally altered his vocal cords too. Suddenly, the thief started begging for mercy, swearing he had never pulled a stunt like this before. Yangjai just roasted him, pointing out his power sadly could not fix his actual face or build. The guy sighed deeply, cursing his trash luck. Facing his pursuer, he slid the backpack over, promising all the stuff was safe. Yangjai snatched it right back, going to double-check his stash, but the dude immediately interrupted him in a total panic. "It is all untouched, I swear," he begged. Yangjai asked if he peeked inside, and the guy pinky promised he had not even unzipped it once. "Cool," Yangjai nodded, lecturing him to go find a legit hustle and actually act like a decent human being for once. The guy nodded aggressively, swearing off crime forever and kissing up to Yangjai for supposedly letting him off the hook. "Who said anything about letting you go?" Yangjai fired back, watching the color drain from the guy's face before effortlessly swiping his powers. Turning to dip, he whispered to himself, "I literally swore I would stop hoarding these random skills, but this flex was way too tempting to pass up." It was a total F-rank move called instant wardrobe. Specs were simple: swap your entire fit with just a flick of the wrist. Plus, it came with a super clutch pocket dimension for storage. Yangjai gave it a test drive immediately, snapping his fingers. Boom, suddenly rocking a crispy tailored suit. Stepping out of the bathroom, he realized how insanely overpowered this little trick was. Right then, a couple of cops rolled up on him. They mentioned some random local called in a noise complaint about a weirdo in the girl's room, asking if he had noticed anything shady. Yangjai played it super cool, telling the officers he definitely spotted some totally suspicious guy dressed up in there. The cops let out a massive sigh and instantly went to go raid the stalls themselves. Yangjai chilled there watching them drag the pathetic dude out in cuffs. Low-key, some people do not deserve their powers, but he was basically out here fixing that glitch. 7 days later, Yangjai hopped out of a taxi and instantly bumped into his boy Fanpeng. His buddy threw his hands up like, "About time you showed." But Yangjai kept a straight face, demanding to know why he blew up his phone over an emergency. Fanpeng pulled him in for a quick bro hug, hyping him up to guess who he just spotted inside the rave. "Who?" Yangjai asked flatly. Fanpeng hit him with a massive grin and dropped the bomb that his supposed girl, Lin Nexu, was inside. She was apparently working the VIP section. Yangjai instantly shut it down, telling his friend she definitely was not his girl and asking why he should even care. They were practically at the front doors when Fanpeng playfully shoved him, saying he needed to drop the fake tough guy act. He claimed he could read him like a book and knew exactly what the vibes were. They pushed through the neon lights, and Fanpeng dragged him over to a prime table. That is when Lin Nexu totally caught Yangjai staring. Yangjai low-key cringed in embarrassment while his buddy casually ordered drinks. Fanpeng slapped his shoulder, joking that he should not stress, because the world is literally full of tens. "We are in my zone tonight, bro," he hyped him up. "Just chill out and soak up the immaculate vibes." So he waves over a few friends. 3 gorgeous girls stroll up to say hi. Fanping hyped the trio up, claiming Lili, Tiantin, and Pao Pao were basically his adorable younger siblings. Then he pointed right at his buddy. "This is Yangjai, my absolute ride or die. Looking fresh today, right?" They crowded around him, totally swooning over how good-looking Z was, sliding a drink his way. Meanwhile, the crew at the table over had 2 guys and 3 girls just chilling. One dude over there was just endlessly whining about his absolutely garbage luck. He cried that if his bro hadn't swiped his McLaren, he'd never have choked against that punk Gao Zhen. Lin just roasted him, telling him to take the L and stop blaming the ride. Honestly, that guy, Liu Yuan, was absolutely trashed by this point. He rambled about playing bodyguard just because his dad was ghosting him. Leon totally clapped back, asking if it was actually just because he talks way too much. Leon flexed that a totally average dude like Liu Yuan must be fuming having to answer to a high-tier hero like him. That hit a nerve. Liu Yuan snapped, jumped up, and literally swung at the girl next to him, screaming that everyone was pure trash. He totally lost his mind, yelling about why they even showed up, and whining that the drinks tasted like garbage, blaming her for pouring it. It got way worse. He walked right up to the crying girl on the floor and dumped his entire drink all over her. Jiyoung watched the whole mess unfold and almost stepped in, but Fan Pang held him back, begging him not to do anything crazy. He warned him that this rich kid was Liu Yuan, the second son of a super famous A-rank cyborg from Kun Corp. Plus, his muscle was a C-rank pro named Fiery Fist. But Yangjai entirely ignored the warning, just brushing his hand away. Fan Pang panicked, insisting an everyday dude like Yangjai would get absolutely wrecked. Playing it cool, Yangjai just muttered he was heading to the bathroom. Back at the drama, Liu Yuan was lounging again, trapping two girls beside him. He pulled them close, gloating about teaching them manners. Then he gave the sickest order to finish off the fallen girl in exchange for their safety. Right then, some random guy started aggressively forcing drinks down Lin Shu's throat. Out of nowhere, Yangjai rocked up wearing a mask to stay low-key and totally decked the guy. He casually called out the cyborg hero's kid, but Liu Yuan was too wasted to care. So his bodyguard, Li Yan, stepped up instead, demanding to know who this masked guy was. Chugging yet another bottle, Liu Yuan slurred that it was probably just another idiot with a death wish. Yangjai kept his cool, claiming he just wanted to strike a bargain with the boss. Liu Yan fired back, asking what kind of trade he meant. Li Yan tried to play peacemaker, leaning in to tell his trashed boss that it was super late and they really needed to bounce. But Liu Yan totally lost it, tossing a glass bottle straight at his guard, calling him useless garbage and barking at him to back down. He shrieked that they obviously had a business proposition happening. Li Yan was absolutely seething. Shifting focus, Liu Yan yelled at Yangjai to pitch his little deal. The guard grabbed his boss's shoulder, warning him he was way too smashed for this. He ordered the rich kid to sit tight, while he handled the masked freak himself. Meanwhile, Yangjai was just chilling on the couch, casually swirling a drink. He looked straight at the bodyguard and dared him to make a move. He joked about being a total pacifist, but claimed the guard ruined his chance to chat with the boss. Then, he slammed his glass down and got on his feet. Smirking, he announced it was time for a little schooling. Lin barked back, ready to see who was actually getting schooled today. Powering up his signature blazing hands, the guard warned Yangjai his luck had officially run out, claiming only a total fool would pick a fight with him. Yangjai mentally noted those fire moves were barely C-rank level. As a massive crowd started circling them, random people were whispering about how insane it was to challenge a top-tier hero's personal protege. In the background, the Jai girls rushed to help Lin Nikshu clean up the spilled drinks, getting a quiet thank you while the crowd kept buzzing. Bystanders were totally confused about the sudden brawl, while someone else just roasted the dude's mask for looking like straight poultry. He had that whole mysterious vibe going, but everyone wondered if he could actually take down a literal firebender. Leon charged in with blazing strikes, but got totally tripped up when the masked guy didn't even flinch, suspecting it was major bait. Getting up close, he questioned the lack of defense, letting out an arrogant laugh about the rookie mistake. He bragged that absolutely nothing had ever survived this signature combo since his debut, before unleashing his strike. The crowd was absolutely terrified. Someone screamed about brutal burn damage, but once the smoke cleared, the masked dude was standing there without a single scratch. Even the bodyguard was totally shook, staring in disbelief at his zero damage output. Faster than lightning, Yangjai dropped him with a brutal psychic blast. The rich kid shot out of his seat, hyping up the raw power. The fire guy got one-shotted just like that. Standing over him, the victor casually fired up his extraction skill. He snagged a solid A-rank skill called Flame Strike, letting you spark fire straight from your hands, basically rated super deadly. By then, the whole crowd had ditched, leaving Liu Yuan totally alone and absolutely terrified. Snapping back to reality, he blurted out, "What just went down? Did that loser actually get wrecked that fast?" Knowing he was cornered, he asked Yangjai about his supposed offer. "How much cash are we talking? Want me to wire the funds right now?" Totally ignoring him, Yangjai snatched him up by the neck. Gasping for air, Liu choked out, "Wait, do you even know my dad? Your dad is some cyborg hero." "Big deal," Yangjai shot back, freezing cold. Liu threatened, "Take me out, and my old man will end you." Yanking him in tight, Yangjai whispered, "I am not ending you today. But guess what I am about to offer?" Liu coughed awkwardly, trying to speak, before Yangjai dropped the bomb. "Wanna score a real superpower?" Totally stunned, Liu stammered, "Wait, what power?" Dropping him, Liu hacked up a cough and scoffed, "Who do you think you are? Some literal god? You seriously believe you can just hand out superpowers like candy? If you want the upgrade, show up here solo in 7 days, Yangjai declared, tossing him a crumpled scrap with a location. Once the drama wrapped up, Yangjai dialed his buddy. Fan Pang sounded completely stressed, whining, "Dude, I honestly thought you got wiped off the map. Why zero texts? Yangjai brushed it off. The club was way too loud. Just stepped out for some fresh air. What is the deal? Fan Pang hyped up. You missed epic drama, bro. Let me pull up right now and spill all the tea. Also, you down for some grilled meat? Yangjai casually agreed. He was starving for whatever. Internally, Yangjai smirked, knowing phase 1 was totally locked in. The only thing left was watching Liu take the bait. Digging through the Kunlun corporate soups would speed things up insanely. He had sworn to his sis, fairies, that he would uncover the absolute truth soon. Back at the main base, the entire squad huddled around, playing the leaked footage of that insane club brawl. The cyborg dude crossed his arms. So, what is the verdict? Any wild theories here? That Frost guy chimed in. That masked freak literally chopped the fire bruiser down in a single heartbeat. Dude has to be absolutely massive. The slacker blade master argued. Nah, a physical strike is not what wrecked Lang. Lang got folded the second that guy twitched his wrist. Molung slammed a file down, saying, here are the lab specs on our fire brawler's actual damage. You all need to check this out right now. Skimming the intel, the whole room freaked out. They practically yelled together. Wait, did his fire powers literally vanish? Looks like it. The metal dude nodded. The slacker swordsman muttered, who the heck is out here casually deleting superpowers? Honestly, only S-tier legends are known for pulling off a hack like that, Molong explained. The cyborg pressed. You legit think it is him? The ice guy vaulted out of his chair, yelling, zero chance. That teleporter guy is basically ancient history and half dead. No way he suddenly popped up. Molong sighed. Kunlun corporate cannot handle this mess solo. They are definitely gonna have to leak this upstairs. Lounging around the base, the slacker swordsman mused, a dude rocking that kind of wild buff. How is he just doing dirty work for some shady corp without anyone dropping the tea? The cyborg pitched, keeping their mouths shut for now. Let the Liu family handle their own dark corporate baggage first. Staring at his ceiling, Liu tossed around, totally obsessed with the crazy offer Yangjai threw out. Daydreaming about leveling up, he wondered if it was actually possible. The dude called it a trade, but what was the catch? Staring at the scribbled digits again, he crushed the note in his fist, muttering that no matter what, he was scoring that power soon. Consequences be damned. Meanwhile, Fan Pang questioned why Yangjai randomly dragged him to an exhibit. Yangjai played it cool, claiming he just needed monster intel to basically avoid getting clapped in the streets. But secretly, he was hyping himself up. Could I actually steal skills from an S-tier beast? Strolling inside, Yangjai roasted his bro, joking that he wasn't here to study freaks, but to literally hit on the visitors. Fan Pang laughed. Dude, only absolute 10s hang out here. Yangjai gestured at a massive display, revealing his real target. An insane S-tier lightning dino beast, standing 7 meters tall and stretching 12 long. This freak was an original threat. It blasted pure lightning, single-handedly blacking out Lugan City and flatlining 5 A-tier, 13 B-tier, and 27 C-tier soups. The duo finally rolled up to the giant creepy replica. Covering his tracks, Yangjai claimed he was vlogging about the invasion, hyping up how the beast spammed electric shocks. Totally mind-blown. Feng Pong gasped, that thing is broken. Yangjai just silently plotted. Imagine snagging that epic power, he whispered, reaching for the beastly statue. Suddenly, a security guard blocked him, demanding, hey, back off. What is the big idea? Yangjai played it cool, throwing up a peace sign and claiming he was just a reporter working on a monster documentary piece. He flashed his press badge. The guard squinted at the plastic ID, completely suspicious, and grunted. A reporter? Huh? The guard crossed his arms. Look, scribble your little story if you want, but this is a hands-off zone. Eyes only, kid. Yangjai and Feng Pong exchanged a sneaky glance. Stepping up to run interference, Feng Pong smoothly told the guy, chill, man, we are cool. Nobody is grabbing anything. Then, totally pivoting, he nudged the guard and whispered, yo, where do the pretty girls hang out around here? The security dude stared at him like he had two heads. What on earth are you blabbering about? Have you lost your mind? Feng Pong just shrugged, acting clueless. Come on, bro. You know, the totally average and everyday ones. With the guard totally occupied, Yangjai slid his hand onto the stone beast to drain its power. A robotic voice echoed in his head. Extraction sequence initiated. I feel the energy pulsing. Yangjai panicked internally. But why is pulling it out like pulling teeth? After a grueling struggle, he finally ripped the power free. The digital voice chimed, download successful. He scored the skill, but when he tried pulling up its stats, his jaw dropped. The description screen was completely blank. Eventually, the skill's true nature revealed itself. His initial shock instantly morphed into pure frustration. It was a pathetic E-tier power named Static Sparks. The description literally just said it makes a tiny ball of lightning. The system's pro tip? Great for charging mobile devices. Yangjai felt incredibly let down. An E-tier skill from an S-tier beast? Are you kidding me? He grumbled, guessing the creature's ancient corpse had lost all its juice. It totally hit him. Maybe his last drain only worked so perfectly because that target was actually breathing. Strolling through the rest of the exhibits, he sighed. Yeah, this place is a total bust for scoring epic loot. Still, leaving empty-handed was not an option. He pushed forward, desperate to find at least one decent thing. Crashing at his desk later that night, he took stock of his haul. Hours of sneaking around a massive exhibit had only netted him 3 trash-tier skills. First up was a total joke of an F-tier move called Copycat. The stats: spawns a duplicate that vanishes after 60 seconds. The review suggested using it as a living light switch. Next was that E-tier trash. Yeah, the Static Sparks one. Makes a tiny lightning orb, basically just a glorified portable power bank for smartphones. His final catch was another bottom-tier F rank dubbed Puppet Master. The breakdown: forces someone to pay attention to you. The system cheekily warned, please do not use this for creepy stuff, okay? Swiping through these pathetic stats, Yangjai cringed. Honestly, it is scary how unbelievably useless these powers are. Wait, if I can mash skills together, can I trash them entirely? Curious. He selected a mediocre C-tier flame skill to test it out. His first attempt totally fizzled out. He did not quit, though, and after grinding for a bit, he finally nailed it. Skill deleted. The screen flashed. What was left? A level 1 item called Shadow Matter, described as a flawless and unbreakable baseline material. Rolling the pitch-black block in his palm, Yangjai was totally clueless. What exactly was this shadow stuff? Did every superpower originate from these tiny blocks? This proved he could literally break down magic into building blocks. If powers decompose into these raw shadow cubes, could he flip the script and use them to buff his other skills? He threw caution to the wind and risked it, and it freaking worked. A notification popped up. Skill upgraded. Puppet Master leveled up to E-tier. The new effect allowed him to mentally enter a target's mind. The system's new review: perfect for manipulating folks. Let the mind games begin. Yangjai grinned like crazy, amazed the trick had actually leveled him up. Could he seriously craft his own god-tier powers now? Before he could celebrate, wild shouting erupted from the hallway outside. Someone was screaming, demanding people to back off. Peeking out, Yangjai wondered if Liu Yuan was bothering Lin Na again, hearing her sob uncontrollably. The poor girl was bawling her eyes out. Meanwhile, her dad was just chilling on her sofa, casually puffing on a cigarette. Her dad claimed they never meant to scam her. As Yangjai crept closer, he heard the guy argue, like you would just hand over the cash if we asked nicely. Right on cue, the mom jumped into the toxic screaming match to defend her husband. She yelled that her son desperately needed funds for a house, a sweet ride, and a wedding, a grand total of around $1 million. How else were we supposed to scrape together that kind of cash? She complained loudly. Lin Na completely lost it, screaming, so you completely lied about dad being on his deathbed just to rob me blind? Did they even care how crushed she felt? She had literally been pulling 4 back-to-back shifts every single day to pay his fake hospital bills. Her dad just heartlessly shrugged, muttering that they figured they would milk her for what they could now and steal the rest later. Like, our family name can't just die out with us, right? Lin now snapped, demanding to know if this whole reunion was just a trap to auction her off to a total stranger. Her mom stepped closer, pleading that even if the guy wasn't college educated, he had a good heart and would treat her right. Lin Nizu totally lost it right then. Are you guys literally out of your minds? She yelled. Where do you think that 50,000 from last week came from? Waitressing? No, I literally had to sell my dignity as a companion. Do you even get that? Her parents looked absolutely shook. Her dad shot up off the sofa, demanding to know what she just mumbled. You've completely trashed our family name. He hurled insults at her, raising a hand like he was about to smack her. Lin Nizu practically dared her dad to swing, screaming that her creepy clients hit way harder than he ever could. That's when Yangjai stepped up. He tried talking the dad down, reminding him that they could hash this out calmly since she was still family. The old man was seeing red, yelling at him to back off from their family drama before turning back to punish his kid. Who was the stranger to interfere? Yangjai quickly realized the dad felt absolutely zero remorse, catching the guilt in her mom's eyes. Though, he figured he should step in and actually bail Lin Nizu out of this mess. He flipped on his Class C mind control trick, giving the mom a mental nudge. Suddenly, she jumped in front of her husband, screaming to drop it. She sobbed that their own flesh and blood resorted to working the streets because of him. Did he literally have no soul? Rushing over, her mom wrapped Lin now in a tight embrace, crying about how sorry she was and that she'd always be her precious baby. Finally realizing he messed up, the dad let out a heavy breath. Fine, he grumbled. Her brother can just earn his own keep. Lin Nizu shrugged it off, murmuring that it was all good as long as they eventually got the picture. Honestly, everyone has a soft spot for their own relatives. Hearing that made Yangjai think back to his little sister stuck in the hospital. Fast forward to the next morning at the train depot, Lin now was saying her goodbyes, telling her folks to stay safe. She promised to drop by for the holidays. Her mom nodded, begging her to stay out of trouble and make smarter choices. Once the train pulled away, Lin now turned and totally thanked Yangjai for tagging along for the send-off. Now it was time to head back. Yangjai passed her a coffee, casually mentioning that he hoped her brother would get it together. That life lesson would honestly do him way better than throwing more cash at him. Lin now just threw a flirty wink, gesturing for him to lean in. Totally lost, Yangjai just blinked. Wait, what is it? Lin Nizu closed the gap, planted a quick kiss on his cheek, and whispered another thank you. Later that night, Yangjai was fully geared up, prowling the streets. Peeking at the monster dissection plant, he couldn't help but notice the security was absolutely insane, totally living up to the hype. This joint was packed with dead beasts, practically a goldmine for him to snag some epic new powers. Sneaking in the front door was obviously a no-go. When a massive truck rolled past, Yangjai slid underneath and gripped the chassis only to find company. Some random girl was already clinging there, wildly shushing him. He was totally thrown off. Was this chick breaking into the facility too? Trying to play it cool, Yangjai smirked. Funny meeting you here. Looking super annoyed, the girl rolled her eyes and muttered back, yeah, hilarious. Cursing her awful luck for bumping into a stranger, she laid down the law. Once inside, it was strictly survival of the fittest. She flexed her title, claiming she was the official rep for the Fahai Qiandodo business crew. Then she demanded his name. He kept it chill, just dropping Yangjai. Qiandodo gave a quick nod, whispering the drop-off zone was coming right up. No way I'm dismounting while we're moving this fast, she hissed. Yangjai just shot her a look and said, grab on. Snatching her by the waist, they bailed from under the moving rig. Once they hit the dirt, Yangjai awkwardly cleared his throat. Gonna let go? Anytime soon? Qiandodo's face went totally tomato red in an instant, super embarrassed. She scrambled back up, snapping, don't flatter yourself, it was pure survival. After that, they slipped into the creepy dissection bay. Catching him staring, Qiandodo raised an eyebrow. What? Never seen a dead monster before? Must be a total rookie. Playing along, Yangjai grinned, guilty as charged. Guess I'll just follow your lead, boss. Feeling pretty smug about his respect, Qiandodo agreed to let him tag along. Pushing further inside, they stumbled upon an absolutely massive carcass. Sneaking up to the beast, Qiandodo whispered that her buyer wanted the white fur off the werewolf's chest, meaning precision slicing was required. Pulling out this tiny container, she flashed Yangjai a seriously wicked smirk. My spatial pocket can stash an insane amount of loot. Pretty sweet flex, huh? Wow, what a totally lame name for a spatial power. Yangjai cringed internally. Unbothered, Kyoto signaled for them to hit the next room. The second she looked away, Yangjai snatched the werewolf's power. A sweet D-rank skill called metal transformation, letting him shapeshift any metallic object. Basically, a mechanic's ultimate fantasy. Out of nowhere, blaring sirens absolutely jump-scared the two of them. Sirens? Are we totally busted? Qiandodo panicked. Just then, a door creaked open, and some dude wearing a lab coat stumbled into the hallway. Looking absolutely terrified, he shrieked that the creature was still breathing. Suddenly, a massive appendage snatched the poor guy, dragging him right back into the darkness. While the dude shrieked for his life, our duo quickly ducked into a nearby room to hide. Clinging to Yangjai, she freaked out. What on earth was that freaking thing? Her legs literally turned to jelly, and she begged him to hold her up. Suddenly, a slimy limb wrapped around her. Yangjai instantly sparked his force fire power. Help me! She shrieked in absolute terror, though his fiery trick totally flopped this time. Chasing the ridiculously fast beast, Yangjai managed to grab hold of it, suddenly spotting steel beams scattered all over the place. Surrounded by steel, he flexed that new D-rank morphing skill, instantly slicing right through the creature's gross limb. She crashed hard onto the floor. Rushing over, he quickly checked. Hey, are you hurt? Peeling the dead appendage off her shredded top, she winced. These stupid things are covered in painful hooks. Staring down the dark hallway, she nervously whispered, Seriously, what kind of freakish mutant is that? How did it even revive? She wondered. To which he muttered that they were about to find out firsthand. Creeping closer, they finally got a good look at the beast. And it was pure nightmare fuel. Rocking a massive, fanged skull for a head, it had trapped a bunch of hostages who were crying out for rescue. The horrifying sight left our teenage duo totally paralyzed and entirely at a loss for words. Disgusting appendages were literally bursting from its eye sockets. Snapping out of his shock, Yangjai activated his metallic morphing power. He threw up a desperate defense to block the creature's crazy assault. She warned him that his shield was barely holding up anymore. They desperately needed a new game plan, but he was totally clueless. Completely terrified, she started sobbing that they were absolute goners and about to become monster snacks. Scanning the chaotic nightmare room, he knew they were doomed until his eyes locked onto several fuel canisters. He quickly promised to keep her safe, telling her to chill because he just had a genius idea. When she frantically asked what the plan was, he stayed quiet, using his powers to chuck the fuel straight at the beast. Right after, he sparked another skill to literally blow the whole thing up in flames. The hostages instantly booked it. Hearing someone yell to escape while the getting was good, our duo sprinted away too. A rogue limb swiped at her, but some furious older dude suddenly dashed in and sliced it right off. So, he snarled, "You're the punks bringing these freaks back to life to ruin my turf." She instantly fired back, yelling, "Who even are you? And why are you talking crazy right out of nowhere?" Sheathing his weapon, the boomer grumbled about kids having absolutely zero respect these days. "I was wrecking fools when you were still in diapers," he bragged. Absolutely triggered, she called him a rude geezer. Then it clicked for Yangjai. This was Duan Shu, the legendary idol who destroyed the King Kong Berserker 10 years back. Stepping in front of his friend, he politely greeted, "Senior Duan." The elder smirked. "At least one of you has manners. I'll teach you both a lesson right after I turn this mutant into dust." Wondering what an A-rank legend was doing in a creepy morgue, Yangjai watched the elder unleash his North Star Greedy Wolf combo on the beast. Completely mind-blown by the fight, he muttered to himself, "That legendary North Star technique is no joke. Even an S-rank superhuman would probably flinch at those crazy advanced moves." Totally mesmerized by the epic martial arts, she hyped him up, screaming, "That is incredibly awesome." However, the beast just got ridiculously angry, doubling its speed. Still, the veteran fighter remained completely unbothered. Dropping his Polar Star Hunger for Heaven move, he went for the ultimate kill shot, using a heavy Water of Heaven ability. With the horrifying mutant totally obliterated, the fierce boomer spun right back around to face the two teenagers. Aiming his weapon straight at their faces, the veteran hero coldly announced, "Now that the trash is taken out, you two are next on my list." Yangjai gulped, sensing serious killer vibes from the guy's hardcore glare. He frantically tried to explain they had zero connection to the undead beast, but the stubborn boomer wasn't buying it. Scoffing loudly, he mocked, "Pure garbage. You kids give off incredibly sketchy energy. Why would I trust a word you say?" Dodo checked if Yangjai could actually beat this old dude. He straight up said no, then asked what her deal was. "Relax, I'm just tossing you some gear," Dodo replied. Tossing him the item and dipping out, she yelled, "It's a rank B monster armor. It's gonna save your skin. I am totally cheering for you." Throwing the armor on, Yangjai was totally mind-blown. "This is insane. It totally gives off fairy sister vibes," he thought. Right then, old man Duan lunged at him, screaming, "Eat this." Yangjai totally blocked it. Whoa, this gear is tanking Duan's hits, he realized. This stuff is totally overpowered. The brawl kicked off, and Yangjai spammed his brain reset skill. With it active, the geezer's moves looked sluggish, but it wasn't a guaranteed win. Duan rushed in again, shouting, "You're wide open." Knowing he could not dodge that, Yangjai immediately flexed his mind control powers. Shocked, Duan gasped, "Did you seriously just freeze me? I'd be toast otherwise." Yangjai shot back. Duan scoffed, "Is this cheap parlor trick all you petty thieves got?" Yangjai morphed his metal into a sick blade, and their swords violently clashed. "This dude hits like a truck." Yangjai panicked. He had to keep spamming mind control just to avoid getting sliced in half. A massive crowd formed around the hype fight. "Bro, he is literally throwing down with Duan Show," someone gasped. "Wait, does that make him a rank 6 hero from the Weapon God Zone?" Eavesdropping, Yangjai was clueless. "Who the heck is the Weapon God?" Duan smirked. "With moves like those, you are definitely no thief." Sheathing his blade, he barked at the nosy crowd to clear out of the processing zone. "I need a private chat with this kid." When some random guy whined about leaving, Duan totally snapped. "Excuse me?" he roared. "Are you really ignoring the boss of this whole facility?" Terrified, the crowd bolted for the exit. Kyondo hollered at Yangjai that she would catch him outside. Once the coast was clear, Yangjai asked the old guy what the big secret was. Duan dropped the act. Look, I know you aren't a weapon god. Your combat skills are not even close. Your metal powers match, sure, but stacking multiple abilities definitely makes you an absolute beast. A powerhouse like you wouldn't be here jacking monster fur. Leaning in, Duan asked, "Are you hunting down a global conspiracy?" Yangjai was totally lost. What kind of crazy conspiracy is this guy on about? He wondered. Still, he played along to squeeze more juicy lore out of the old dude. Yeah, totally here for the world's biggest secrets, he bluffed. Duan chuckled. Ah, the fiery ambition of youth, spilling the tea to a heavy hitter like you? I dig it. Patting his shoulder, Duan whispered. This place is actually a front for ripping open a one-way portal to the monster realm. Wait, the white hole? Yangjai blurted out. Duan then spilled all the lore, explaining how 15 years ago, Lugan City actually triggered one. The Hero Association deployed an elite squad of top-tier heroes to secretly invade the monster dimension. He was literally part of that exact strike team. It was an absolute massacre for the rank S heroes. Only he and 2 others barely survived the nightmare. Get this, every single monster disposal plant sits right on top of Earth's most fragile dimensional spots. By constantly burning monster remains there, they literally tear open a white hole straight into the monster domain. Hooked? Yangjai asked. And then what? What about that zombie monster? Duan sighed. That is highly classified intel. Honestly, it is just a freak mutation caused by the white hole's energy. Humanity is basically livestock right now. We only stand a chance if we squad up all our absolute strongest fighters. Wrapping up the insane lore dump, the old guy dismissed Yangjai. Faction drama doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they are both fighting for Team Human. Cut to the next day at HQ. A girl complained to the boss. Duan Shou is being an absolute idiot. Why is he leaking our biggest secrets? The director just brushed it off. Even if he kept his mouth shut, rival guilds would have figured it out eventually. You can't gatekeep world-shattering lore forever. She then gave him a heads up that the global video call was locked and loaded. The screen lit up with a girl confirming over 25 reps were tuned in, fully meeting the requirements to unlock the Category S protocol. So, the Lugan City Hero Squad dropped a report, and a massive meeting became mandatory. Should they spill the tea to the agencies backing those heroes? Meanwhile, Yangjai checked on his hospitalized sis. Prying for details, he reflected on today's brutal reality check before ditching that old guy Duan. The whole crowd gossiped, wondering what went down and if he actually wrecked old Duanu. Kai and Dudu yelled out to check his vibe. Yangjai knew keeping his powers low-key was essential. Brushing it off, he made Tiandodo stare straight into his eyes, which left her super confused. Boom. Mind control activated. He completely erased her memory of him flexing those fire and metal powers. He planted a fake memory involving dropped-off armor and 10 grand owed, then snapped her back to reality. Running over, she was totally relieved he survived. Later, Yangjai spilled everything to his sister, comparing the 2 girls. Super adorable and totally cash-obsessed. He figured post-revenge, he would try reviving her somehow. Later that night, chilling in his bedroom, our guy busted out his metal morphing trick. He crafted this 6-star absorption ring, popped his power pill, and swore to hide his true skills. Those 2 items were his ultimate cheat code to play Lu Yuan and that snake dude. Morphing his powers, he literally designed a fresh fit for himself, branding the outfit Snake. His skill set would totally clash with Yuji's style, rocking C-rank lightning while dropping fire moves if things got wild. With Yangshi jumping into the mix, this massive squad was about to drop. Calling themselves judges, their whole gig was basically canceling toxic heroes. Fast forward, Yangjai rolled up to meet Lu Yuan. Catching Lu Yuan totally passed out, Yangji walked right up, yelled at him, and delivered a kick. The guy bolted upright, screaming about his ruined nap and threatening to literally throw hands. Realizing who it was, he instantly backpedaled with a sleepy apology. Yangji just thanked the dude for actually showing up. Lu Yan totally bought the act. Calling him Yuji's boss, he promised unlimited cash, girls, and clout for those sweet powers. If not, he joked that the dude should go cry on Yangxi's shoulder. Shoving him back, Yangjai curved the offer hard, claiming getting powers was literally as easy as making eye contact. Lu Yuan fell for it, and right on cue, Yangji unleashed his mind control mojo. Once under the spell, he demanded all the tea on that blue pill, but the hypnotized dude stayed silent. Yangjai was low-key stressing over the glitch. He ordered the guy to smack himself, but Lu Yuan just stood there like a statue. Thinking his plan totally flopped, it suddenly clicked. Wait, is this dude already hiding some power? Maybe he packed some elite C-rank skill that literally cancels out mind control. So, he switched to a psychic strike, remembering he held back on the dude during their bar hangout. Honestly, the guy gave off zero superpowered energy, but Yangjai figured he might as well risk it. Holy crap, he actually ripped an ability right out of him. Yangjai was mind blown that the guy was gifted. Turns out, Lu Yuan was hiding an insane, a rank power literally called Resurrection. It revives you post-death and rewinds the clock 24 hours. An epic A-rank move, but dying first is beyond dumb. Yangjai was completely shook, barely believing this absolute random walked around with a top-tier skill. This game changer was crazy. Looking down at the knocked-out guy, Yangjai promised to treat him right after stealing his trick. He figured his next move was to shove this weird pearl straight into him. He grabbed the gem from that creepy body facility, jammed it in, and ordered him awake. Popping up instantly, Lu Yuan begged for powers again before totally glitching and acting confused. He questioned his sudden nap. Yangjai smoothly played it off as exhaustion and flexed the ring at him. Checking out the bling on his hand, Lu Yuan just nodded. Yangjai hyped up the star absorption ring, bragging his crew made it to siphon powers out of people. The dude's jaw dropped. He practically vibrated, asking if it was legit and what happens next. Yangjai dropped the lore, explaining how his squad turns stolen energy into potions for normies, pulling out a vial to prove it. Tossing the vial right over, Lu Yuan caught it and immediately questioned the juice's hype. Thinking it was a total scam, he called Yangjai out. Our guy just dared him to chug it and see. Lu Yuan eyed the tiny flask suspiciously, wondering if the whole thing was literally just a death trap. Then again, Yangjai could have ended him ages ago if he really wanted to. Shrugging off the nerves, he just sent it and chugged the whole thing down. Smirking, Yangjai promised him he was about to experience a totally insane power-up firsthand. As his body started morphing, the kid screamed that he was literally burning alive. Watching the freakout, Yangjai secretly mused, asterisk, yeah, that liquid actually does zero. Asterisk, asterisk, I'm just pulling the strings with the ability pearl from over here. Asterisk. Suddenly, the guy full-on shapeshifted into a massive wolfman. Bro, what even is this? He freaked out. Shapeshifting, Yangjai replied super casually, asking how the new upgrade felt. Still hyped, the kid wondered aloud if this legit counted as a superpower, demanding to know how it stacked up against his brother's dragon morph. The vibe completely died when Yangjai casually dropped that his sibling rocked an E-tier, leaving him stuck at rock-bottom F-tier. He was absolutely triggered. Wait, E-tier? He raged. Dude, that is a massive 3-level gap between us. Coughing awkwardly, the older guy tried to chill him out, explaining that rookies fresh to the crew only score the baseline starter packs. Instantly switching to puppy dog mode, the werewolf dude literally looked like he was about to burst into tears. Yangjai was just staring at him, utterly baffled. Asterisk. How does a terrifying beast end up acting like a massive, goofy, husky? Asterisk. Sighing, he finally caved and offered to bump the power up to an E-tier as a welcome to the team bonus. That little detail totally blew the kid's mind. It meant this secret squad was hoarding way more crazy powers behind the scenes. Realizing he might actually outscale his own dad one day, he lost his mind, practically tackling Yangjai in a massive hug and screaming "Daddy." Without missing a beat, he instantly begged to get fast-tracked all the way to an A-tier. Shoving the overly hyped giant off him, the older dude snapped, "Who the heck are you calling dad?" So the kid compromised with Godfather instead. He swore nobody had ever been this ridiculously nice to him before. But Yangjai shut that down real quick, denying any special favors. Sucking up wouldn't change the syndicate's strict rules. Homie had to grind out actual quests to secure any real street cred. Totally unfazed, the new recruit was just stoked to roll with the whole mafia boss vibe anyway. When asked what kind of crew they were actually running, his mentor told him to pay close attention. They were officially known as the Judges. The whole thing was built from the ground up by one absolute unit of a boss, commanding 12 top-tier Zodiac captains. He casually dropped that he repped the rooster among the 12, blowing the kid's mind that someone this overpowered was just a mid-level manager. Trying to calculate the big bad's true power level was pointless. His mentor warned, especially since the head honcho literally stayed completely off the grid. With the leader being super cryptic, the rookie quickly pivoted back to asking how he could speedrun his own reputation points. The answer was obvious: knock out syndicate missions. And as luck would have it, there was already a quest lined up just for him. He needed to flex his status as the Kuhn Corporation's rich heir to dig up any spicy intel on this sketchy thing called the Blue Pill. Wait, what exactly does this thing do? He asked. Apparently, It was some kind of highly illegal buff that drastically amped up raw stats. That was the exact reason he was crashing in Lugan anyway, to figure out which underground gang was actually distributing the stuff. The teenager's eyes practically sparkled with hype. A magical stat-boosting item sounded like an absolute dream come true. Catching that greedy look, his mentor immediately warned him not to get any toxic ideas about using it himself. Some pro-cape had already abused the stuff and ended up wrecking a totally innocent bystander, which instantly got the kid to back off. Shaking his mentor's shoulders in pure shock, he demanded names. Turns out, it was an A-tier idol from their own label known as Glacial Adventurer. No way. Canyon did that? He gasped, totally thrown off, since the dude's public persona was always effortlessly chill. Turns out, the guy was actually a massive junkie. The deal was set. Bring back solid T on the situation, and he'd unlock a sweet D-tier power up for him. The older guy was halfway out the door before suddenly slamming the brakes like he had just remembered a major red flag. Oh, by the way, that little upgrade? It fades in exactly 7 days. The clock was seriously ticking. Realizing he had to rush this insane mission before next week, the kid went into absolute panic mode. Fast forward to tomorrow. The older dude was just chilling downtown when a super flashy flyer caught his eye, pulling him in for a closer look. It was literally a bounty poster out for his own alter ego, Uncle Yangjai, dropping major details about his signature black trench coat and creepy pale mask. The flyer practically begged anyone with T to dial up Tandodo immediately, leaving her digits right there in bold. The sheer audacity of the hit piece caught him so off guard he straight up did a spit take all over the glass. Some random worker completely lost it and started cursing him out, forcing him to quickly mumble an awkward apology. Ripping down the paper, he stomped down the block, absolutely flabbergasted that the chick actually pulled a stunt like this, right as a massive crowd spilled into the street. Squinting at the mob, he suddenly spotted Tandodo herself right in the mix, leaving him utterly confused about what kind of mess she had gotten into now. He snuck around to eavesdrop. 3 sketchy people cornered Tandodo, and she snapped, "Who the heck are you guys?" A dude covered in piercings fired back, warning her to play nice and surrender their boss's sword. Dodo played totally clueless. "What sword? I have zero idea what you're talking about. My hands are literally empty." The masked guy completely lost his chill. He ordered her to drop the act, accusing her of scamming their gullible leader by trading fake gems for his weapon. Piercing guy dropped a massive threat, telling her to cough it up immediately if she valued her life. Hiding nearby, Yangjai was totally shook. He thought, wait, are they talking about the Muramasa? That's an S-rank legendary sword. Does Dodo seriously have it on her? Meanwhile, Dodo's gears were turning, realizing she might have just scored some god-tier loot. Smelling a payout, she whipped out a tiny box and doubled down on her innocent routine. "Your boss? Who? I have literally never met the guy. You definitely tracked down the wrong person." Watching from the shadows, Yangjai mentally facepalmed. Her acting was absolute trash. It was insanely obvious this greedy girl stole the weapon and refused to return it. The third squad member, a girl, cut the conversation short, saying they were just wasting breath. Time for action. Piercing dude unleashed his triple blade army skill, while the masked guy triggered his shadow clone technique. Watching them flex, Yangjai was stunned. Are those bloodline powers? Are they both rocking above C-rank skills? Dodo scoffed, completely unfazed by the threat. She dug into her backpack and whipped out a Kamitachi sickle, and then she literally just chucked it away, making a run for it. Dodo cackled that finders keepers was her only rule. However, she left the enemy girl behind, who happened to pack an A-rank snow power. Trying to book it out of there, Dodo got super confused when the temperature instantly plummeted into a blizzard. Yangjai immediately activated his wardrobe swap skill. The enemy was already on Dodo's tail, whipping up a massive icy tornado. Panicking for his friend, Yangjai screamed her name. Meanwhile, news crews were already swarming the block. A male reporter started broadcasting live about an explosive showdown popping off right on Chongqing Street. He begged any local heroes to rush over and save the day. Right then, Dodo got violently swept up in the freezing vortex. She crashed hard into the pavement, groaning in total agony. The ice girl walked up, demanding her stolen property back. Dodo did not back down for a second. "Sure thing. Just tell me exactly what kind of sword you're missing," she smirked. "Was it a gold one or a silver one?" This joke made the ice girl furious, so she froze Dodo to the floor, telling her to drop the attitude. "Stop playing, or I will literally shatter your frozen legs into a million tiny ice cubes." Dropping the sarcasm, Dodo fiercely fired back that she would not be bullied. She won that weapon fair and square with her own talents. She refused to just hand it over. Instead, she blindly tossed the sword straight to Yangjai, yelling, "Congrats, it is all yours now." Free of charge, Yangjai caught the hilt out of pure reflex, sighing, "Wow, classic Dodo." He sarcastically thanked her, realizing she knew he was hiding the whole time. But honestly, the sword looked like absolute trash. Nobody would take it, even if paid. Flustered, Dodo confessed she never expected this crazy squad to hunt her down so aggressively over a rusty chunk of metal. The ice girl instantly flagged them as partners in crime, ordering her goons to jump Yangjai. Suddenly, 4 dudes closed in on him. One charged forward, spitting massive insults and swinging straight for his head. Right then, Yangjai felt the rusty sword literally sucking his mana dry. "Wait, why is my body moving by itself?" he panicked. With zero effort, he effortlessly sliced the attacker in 2. Freaking out, he yelled, "Yo, what is actually happening right now?" Piercing Guy tried to blindside him, but Yangjai's hijacked reflexes instantly countered the strike using the weird sword. The pierced guy collapsed to the floor, begging his master for help. Somehow, Yangjai managed to steal the dude's C-rank ability on the spot. It was a slick combat skill, called the 3-blade styles of Sun and Moon. The system description explained it used weapon aura to completely block incoming attacks. But Yangjai was already trembling, totally drained. The cursed sword was eating way too much of his mental energy. He was literally seconds away from passing out. Worse, the ice girl was locking her powers onto him from behind. He gritted his teeth, thinking he would seriously have to burn his revive skill today. Suddenly, a massive green flash exploded across the sky as backup arrived. The crowd went wild, wondering what was dropping in. "Is that the light of despair?" Yangjai gasped. Dodo was equally shocked, blurting out, "No way, is the lazy swordsman actually here?" Sure enough, the infamous slacker dropped in, bringing the pro hero Molong right alongside him. Molong called the ice girl out, saying her crew might get away with acting like thugs in Zone 6, but starting a riot in Zone 1 was insanely stupid. The girl snapped right back, arguing they just wanted their stolen property, and accusing the pro heroes of totally abusing their authority. Dodo jabbed a finger at the chick, yelling for everyone to hold up. Her boss gifted her that sword, so it belonged to her now. Meanwhile, the chick figured she was totally cooked against 2 top-tier pros. Number 1 priority was saving her own skin. Dodo braced herself, totally catching onto the chick's sketchy vibe. Yet she wasn't backing down at all, just kept spamming those ice powers. Facing the pros, she promised to ditch Lugum City alive, even if her crew got wiped out, as long as they handed back her stolen loot. Molong literally laughed out loud, reminding her that absolutely nobody gave her permission to bail on the city. He smirked, asking if she seriously believed the first zone was some chill hangout spot she could ditch whenever. Then he glanced over at the super chill blade guy, leaving the chick to him so he could go check out Yuji's skills firsthand. The slacker swordsman reminded him not to go too crazy since the agency actually wanted to hire the kid, but Molong was already charging at Yuji, joking that he was just stepping in to fix their little drama. Yuji grabbed his sword to block the incoming hit, but that crazy heavy strike completely launched him backward. Dodo was low-key freaking out for him, while Molong just taunted, asking if that was his absolute best. The ice girl panicked, realizing she was literally going to get wrecked at this rate, so she triggered her absolute zero flex. Right on cue, the sleepy swordsman busted out his heavy gale attack. He effortlessly swatted away her ice moves and seemingly slashed her, though he swore he missed. Dodo instantly called Cap, arguing against him. She insisted the chick definitely ate dirt, but the swordsman explained it was just a fake out. He pointed out that she pulled a disappearing act, but had to be hiding close by. That's when the squad realized Yuji's bro had totally vanished too. Yangjai was actually ducking behind a brick wall, swearing at that stupid sword for draining every single ounce of his stamina. How was he supposed to survive this mess? Then it clicked. If this gear dropped from a beast, could he actually pull a skill right out of it? He went for it, and the system suddenly pinged, confirming a successful skill rip. He also scored 2,500 dark energy points before shattering the weapon into a bunch of midnight blocks. It hit him that missing out on the skill orb wasn't a big deal, since he copped all those shadowy energy squares anyway. That sword definitely used parts from an S-tier beast. What kind of power-up would he even need to throw down with that dragon? Grabbing the power orb triggered a system pop-up, rating the totally sick skill as metallic morphing. Yangjai rolled the gacha again and straight up unlocked a sweet A-tier power. The skill was called Control, literally letting him puppet any metallic stuff within a 1,000-meter zone. The max carry cap was a whopping 100,000 tons. The system review was crazy. Whoever rocks this power basically becomes Tony Stark. The ice chick sensed the shift, while Yangjai suddenly felt every single steel and concrete structure around him. His radar picked up rides, jets, and skyscrapers. It was finally time to throw hands for real. Right then, the chick tried to jump him from the back, but he read her completely and blocked the strike. She wasn't about to just quit, though, spamming hits at him while he casually deflected every single one. Totally spooked, she screamed, asking how he was doing this right as he snatched her up. She yelled at him to drop her instantly. He told her to chill out, smirking that he always went easy on the ladies. She demanded to know his plan, but instead of talking, he just swiped her power right out of her. It was a solid A-tier drop. The skill was called Snow Woman, letting the user spawn a winter ghost chick to back them up in a fight. You could even fuse with the ice spirit, letting her fully possess your body for a massive stat boost. He originally figured it was some basic magic, completely oblivious to it being a summon class. That is literally every dude's absolute fantasy. The chick lost her transformation and completely wiped out on the floor. Yangjai scooped her up just as Malong and the sleepy swordsman rolled up. Malong turned to his slacker buddy, asking if this was seriously the random extra he supposedly clapped earlier. The sword guy was tripped out, wondering why his vibe felt totally different now. Yangjai set the chick down, clarifying she wasn't some random NPC. He explained she was actually an ice spirit, but he already handled the situation. Malong got insanely pissed, yelling at the kid for trying to play him. How could some total garbage tier nobody beat a summon like that? Yangjai just kept his cool, telling them to square up and find out for themselves. He straight up challenged them, asking who wanted to catch hands first, or if they were just going to jump him together. Right then, some news anchor started streaming the whole thing. He was absolutely losing his mind that this random dude wanted all the smoke with two A-tier legends. It made zero sense. Molong's Dark Dragon could erase this kid with a single tap. Yet the guy seriously didn't look like he was capping. A viewer watching the stream confessed they were already totally obsessed with a dude rocking the dark cloak. Another chatter mentioned how terrifying he looked while the broadcaster was practically jumping out of his seat with hype. The host screamed into the mic, asking if we were actually about to witness an epic solo player taking down a duo. Malong brushed off the chat's crazy demands, claiming there was zero chance he would ever tag team with that slacker. Top-tier heroes have massive egos to protect, so Yangjai just smirked and called it a letdown since a handicap match sounded way more fun. Trying to drop some wisdom, Molong reminded his sleepy partner that figuring out your enemy is step one to crushing them. The tired warrior totally ignored him, though bragging he had it covered as Molong spotted a super sketchy band on Yangjai's finger. He figured that weird piece of jewelry was definitely holding the key to whatever crazy power had vanished earlier. He warned they needed to play it super safe, but his chill buddy just brushed off the red flags. The slacker stepped up, demanding to know how the Frost Lady went down, and promised the wicked reptile would fight next if he lost. Yangjai just gave him the silent treatment, which completely triggered the tired fighter into launching a sudden strike. The cloaked teen parried it like it was nothing, then teleported right to his blind spot for a nasty counter. Shockingly, the sleepy dude had insane reflexes and managed to block the lethal blow by a hair. Catching on to his enemy's trick, the Blade Master asked if the guy was seriously using telekinesis on his weapon. In his absolute wildest dreams, maybe because the slacker immediately slammed him away, sending him flying backward. He realized his rival's weapon was forged from beast parts, which practically count as heavy alloys. Crazy enough, the dude had absolutely zero gear on him besides that single blade, so straight-up brawling was a guaranteed game over. He seriously needed to max out a brand new skill to elite tier right then, or he was getting completely cooked. Plus, he still had that terrifying scaled beast glaring daggers at him, so he quickly grabbed two random skills. He snatched the Frost Girl's basic power and mashed it together with a super low-level mind-hacking trick. Smashing them together spawned a completely fresh beginner skill that let him turn people into literal dolls. The specs showed it could totally mess with the heads of weaker foes and completely hijack anyone below advanced tier. He could run this buff for a full decade and possess victims for 2 hours daily, with currently 0 out of 3 slots filled. Looking at those absolutely broken stats, he knew this power was straight up toxic. He swore to never use it for anything creepy, right as his opponent started yelling about him zoning out mid-combat. Telling the dude to chill out, he fired off the spell, making the warrior hallucinate his own sibling, crying over his betrayal. The poor guy was totally paralyzed with shock. Once the vision shattered, the stunned fighter freaked out, asking if he had just been hit with psychic damage. He demanded to know if the teen was seriously rocking dual powers, but Yangjai just smirked that he realized it way too late. Who knew a Tempest user could be so emotionally fragile? But the angry warrior lunged forward, screaming that he figured it out. Seeing a ghost of his dead family member absolutely broke him, and the drained fighter just could not swing his weapon anymore. The chat went absolutely wild with panic while fans desperately screamed at their screen for him to stand back up. Another viewer typed that it was officially Rap City for the slacker, leaving the terrifying dragon as their final hope. Somebody else confessed the dark-robed dude finished the fight so fast they were practically a hardcore stan now. The streamer updated millions of viewers that the tired warrior was completely glued to the floor in pure disbelief. Everyone was mind-blown about the psychic drop since the guy only prepped for magnetism and got completely blindsided by mind games. The poor dude was literally shivering so hard it was obvious the match was basically a massive sweep. Hanging right by the camera crew, Jandu hyped up the teen yelling that he was absolutely popping off. She totally thought he was going to get wrecked and leave her 10 grand in the hole, which made him wonder who was trash-talking. The wicked dragon walked over to comfort the loser, saying he actually did awesome by forcing out the ultimate trump card. He told his buddy to tag out, while the defeated guy warned him to avoid eye contact at absolutely all costs. Getting caught in that gaze would trigger your worst emotional nightmares, so Molong confidently stepped up to the plate. Staring down his new challenger, the teen asked if the final boss was finally ready to throw hands. Calling this showdown an absolute legendary moment, the beast pitched a gamble which made the teen super curious about the stakes. He promised to drop the massive lore bomb behind that mysterious finger band if he actually took an L. Yangjai clapped back. Come grab it yourself. Then, that is, if you even can. He smirked inwardly. Thank goodness this monster has a brain. He's totally flexing just to hype up the star absorption ring. Without missing a beat, the scaly beast lunged straight at our guy. Caught off guard, Yangjai thought. Bro, what is this speed? He totally outpaces the lazy swordsman. Still, he barely dodged the strike. Unfortunately, the monster still landed a massive blow. On stream, the news anchor hyped the drama, shouting that the dark hero's reflexes were completely overwhelmed. Wait, you actually have 2 powers? The beast growled. That's basically cheating. Dusting himself off, Yangjai coughed and analyzed the threat. This dude's agility and damage output are insane. Plus, that armor makes him a tank, and he breathes fire? Talk about totally overpowered. Not too shabby, the beast taunted. You take a hit well. Yangjai just gave him the silent treatment. Instead, he unleashed his mind manipulation, instantly catching his opponent in a brutal trap. The monster hallucinated his precious brother, crying out for rescue. Clutching his skull, the beast roared. Don't you dare use his face. I am so done with you. In a flash, he morphed into a terrifying dirt wyvern wreathed in dark fire. Totally shocked, Yangjai gasped. Wait, did he just shatter my mind trick? That only triggered the monster harder. Meanwhile, the streaming journalist completely lost his chill, screaming, Guys, we are literally witnessing phase 2 right now. Honestly, absolute respect to this masked dude. He totally pushed the boss to its limit. Suddenly, the enraged wyvern rushed in while our hero threw up defenses. Are you seriously trying to block me with toothpicks? The monster sneered. Yangjai just laughed, going full drill mode. Huh? Let's see if you can keep up. Taking to the skies, he heard the beast mock him. Flying away? Real original? Coward. The scaled menace blasted into the air after him, but our guy had zero intention of backing down. In a wild maneuver, he snagged the giant beast and wrapped him tight in steel beams. Briefly stunned, the monster quickly regained his swagger. Did you seriously forget about my dark fire? The journalist kept the stream rolling, hyping the chat. We've seen those dark flames turn steel to soup. Guys, those chains are totally going to melt. His fans instantly smacked the cameraman, yelling, Our bro is way more than just muscle. His brain is massive. He never makes a pointless move, and they were right. The beast cranked up the heat, completely failing to scorch the chains. Wait, why isn't this melting? Yangjai smirked internally. That's rank B heatproof gear, buddy. One little blast won't do a thing. Then, our hero started magnetically pulling scrap from all over the city. Freaking out, the beast yelled, Wait, this trick again? Nah, this is pure magnetism. Yangjai cut him off, screaming his ultimate move. Drop down, Titan's strike. Bystanders lost their minds, scrambling for safety as the monster panicked. Is this actually how I go out? With a massive crash, he slammed the scrap pile down. The whole crowd bolted from the drop zone. Coughing through the debris, the streamer shouted, The smoke is clearing. Did the boss actually survive that wipe? Fans crept back toward the wreckage, dropping their crazy theories. Bro is definitely cooked, one viewer muttered, while another agreed. Zero chance anybody tanks a hit like that. Suddenly, someone pointed up. Yo, look, is that a glowing magical moth up there? The glowing insect fluttered around frantically, weeping and searching. Where did he go? The cyborg warrior told the blazing bug to back off while running a quick scan on the rubble. The crowd spotted him and went wild. It's a rank, a cyborg? We are so saved. Plot twist. The sluggish sword guy from the guild actually lived through it, totally crediting his barrier skill for the save. He felt completely awful for embarrassing the whole organization. Hey, you are breathing. That is what matters, the cyborg reassured him. Peeking from behind, the glowing moth asked, "Want a hand with that?" Glancing over at the defeated beast, the sluggish blade sighed. Yeah, tag in on handling this guy. Cut to our hero, who was already chilling at his place, patching up his crazy injuries. Spraying his meds, he hissed in pain. That scaly jerk hits like a truck. Running into him and the ice lady back to back was totally insane. His #1 priority right now? Snagging that blue pill. But he only has 2 real leads. First up is the glacial adventurer, which Yangjai already tossed over to Lu Yuan. The second is a totally top-tier hero, specifically the spicy and sour noodle hero, who is actually throwing a massive fan meet and greet super soon. Yangjai definitely needs to crash that event. With all this crazy danger piling up, having roommates is way too risky now. He has to keep them totally out of the crossfire. Right on cue, Lin bursts through the front door shouting that she made it back. Catching him completely off guard, her sudden entrance practically gave him a heart attack. Lin was just as shook to see him lurking in the lounge and demanded to know what was up. Yangjai totally froze. He quickly lied, claiming he stubbed his toe on the coffee table and was rubbing some ointment on it. Her timing was crazy. He figured it was time to drop the bomb about him leaving. The 3 girls immediately huddled up, totally shocked by the news. Yangjai tried playing the gender card, saying living with a bunch of girls was getting super awkward for a guy. Plus, since he finally scored a massive pay bump at work, he could actually afford his own place. Xia immediately pointed at Lin and grilled him. Wait, what about Lin? Yangjai buried his face in his hands, totally avoiding the question, mumbling, "What do you mean? What about her?" He insisted there was zero going on between them. Hearing that, Xia shrugged and said they would not stand in his way. Since they were all in the group chat anyway, she told him to drop a text whenever he had free time. He nodded in agreement. He promised to take the whole squad out for an epic feast, basically framing it as their big goodbye party. Lin was visibly fuming and stormed straight to her bedroom, slamming the door off its hinges. Yangjai panicked, wondering how he messed up. He awkwardly suggested that if they were doing dinner, everyone needed to go. Xia immediately turned on him. She demanded to know why he was treating a gorgeous, sweet girl like Lin like absolute trash. What was his major malfunction? He tried to defend himself, but the girls completely ghosted him, marching back to their own spaces without a second glance. Xia tossed over her shoulder that they were grabbing a nap, and food was not happening until he fixed things with Lin. Alone in the hallway, Yangjai whispered that denying his feelings for her was a total lie, but putting her in mortal danger was not happening. Hyping himself up, he finally tapped on her bedroom door. Lin shouted from inside that it was unlocked. He pushed his way in to find her huddled on the mattress. He instantly threw out an apology, but she just scoffed, asking what for. Did he not just announce to everyone they were literally nothing? Yangjai begged her to realize he did not actually mean that. Lin totally lost her cool and started yelling, accusing him of being utterly repulsed by her messy background. He desperately tried to shut that down, saying she had it all wrong. So she challenged him if she is not ugly, why the rejection? He denied that too, and pleaded for her to take a breath, suggesting they just stay besties. She snapped back, "Besties? Seriously?" Yangjai was having a massive internal crisis. Was he actually catching real feelings for this girl, or what? He suspected her obsession with him stemmed from her toxic family life crumbling. She was basically projecting all her need for love onto him, and because he was just standing there like a mute statue, she naturally spiraled, convinced that her messy past was exactly why people judged her. She looked so incredibly fragile, like even a gentle hug might shatter her. He hated himself for causing her pain and started to confess. But Lin quickly cut him off, admitting that maybe he actually had a valid point. She confessed to rushing things, foolishly assuming their makeout session meant they were suddenly soulmates forever. Even if the timing was total garbage, she could not stand losing him completely. Taking a leap, she boldly asked him to be her actual boyfriend. Letting out a massive sigh, Yangjai finally caved and promised he would. Meanwhile, the glacial adventurer was absolutely wasted over at Lu Yuan's pad. Lu Yuan just observed the guy from the hall, internally complaining about blowing so much cash on this party just for the Godfather's mission. Once the icy hero completely passed out, Lu Yuan took the chance to start digging through his pockets. Just as his fingers brushed a weird little case, The dude snapped awake, aggressively asking what the heck he was doing. Sweating bullets? Lu Yuan played dumb, stuttering that he was merely hunting for a spark because his lighter went missing. The guy tossed over a lighter and drunkenly mumbled about where their dates disappeared to. Lu Yuan smoothly lied that the girls were on standby, asking which cutie he wanted to hit the hot tub with. The drunken hero slurred that he totally wanted the chick rocking the romper. Once Lu Yuan sent the girl in and the two of them were busy in the bathroom, he immediately went back to snooping through the guy's gear. Tearing through the stuff, he whispered frantically about the missing item until he finally gripped it and grinned. Gotcha. Popping the carton open, he snatched a block out, totally questioning if it was legit sugar. No minty bubblegum scent here. It gave off a sweet, yet totally bizarre aroma. Bro was craving a bite so bad, but somehow fought off the urge. He figured the thing was completely hollow, doubting if it was actually one of those blue capsules. Suddenly, pure shrieking blasted from the washroom. Lu Yuan whipped his head toward the entrance, literally terrified out of his mind. Was the Ice Voyager seriously losing his mind in there? Snagging the Azure tablet, he made up his mind to swipe a stashed one for himself. Creeping up to the washroom, he tapped on the wood. Lu Yuan yelled to the icy hero, asking what on earth was happening. Checking if the dude was all right, he watched the Frost Warrior violently yank the entrance wide. Peeking over his shoulder, Lu Yuan spotted the chick and asked if she was breathing. The frozen explorer scrambled out of the porcelain basin like lightning and started frantically stuffing his gear into his bags. He straight up admitted the chick passed away. Lu Yuan tried to chill him out, promising things would blow over, and desperately pushed the guy to bounce first, claiming he would get the corporate crew to clean up the mess. He watched the icy dude give a quick head bob of agreement. The second that frosty hero bailed, Lu Yuan let out a massive breath. Panting hard, he thought about how that completely rattled his soul. Knowing he would be toast if the ice dude discovered the truth, he shivered. Meanwhile, the Frost hero was raging in his ride, violently chucking his container of Azure meds while swearing up a storm. He complained about this happening way too often. Ever since he started popping those supplements, keeping his insane power in check was basically impossible. Realizing the situation was absolute trash, he knew he had to chill out. Scanning his meds right after, he totally freaked over a vanished capsule, shrugging it off like whatever. He figured he was only a couple of days away from scoring a fresh supply anyway. Missing a single dose literally meant nothing to him. Cut to Fan Pang, who was straight up asking Yangjai if he had lost his marbles, adding that any sane dude would never dream of ditching that sick flat. His buddy pressed on. Yangjai brushed it off, claiming those perks were totally fake news. He then grilled his bro on whether he had any clue how incredibly awkward it was crashing with a whole squad of chicks. Fan Pang fired back that exact struggle was the absolute best part. Rolling his eyes, Yangjai called his friend out for acting like a total creep sometimes. Reaching their new spot, Fan Pang interrogated his buddy about how he scored the cash to lease such a massive, premium pad. Yangjai casually dropped that his foster kid funded the whole thing. Naturally, Fan Pang called absolute cap on that story, wondering when on earth he scooped up a child. His friend guessed he just hit the jackpot. Either way, he demanded a sick celebratory meal out of it. Defending himself, the guy swore he was spitting straight facts, even though his buddy refused to buy a single word. Dumping his bags everywhere, our guy flopped onto his fresh mattress. Stuffing his face earlier left him full, and while the solo vibe was super chill, it felt low-key isolating, just throwing it out there. Ever since throwing hands with that wicked lizard, our boy totally neglected his calling powers. We are talking about his sick Ice Maiden skill. Despite blowing dark juice to buff his puppet mastery, he still rocked a solid tier C power level. Time to witness just how terrifying this Frost chick could get. Calling the Frost lady to spawn, his jaw straight up dropped when the smoke cleared. Hold the phone for a sec. Why was she a literal toddler? Plus, he was absolutely freezing his tail off in his brand new place, calling him boss. The tiny chick checked on his vibe, prompting him to shriek at her to stay back. The kidlet smoothly told him to take a chill pill, promising her frostbite wouldn't cause actual damage despite the crazy temperature drop. She smiled. Baffled, he questioned what she even meant by winter weather. She simply pointed out the chilly room vibe. Suddenly having a brain blast, he fired up his blazing punch skill, making her gasp at the flames. Begging her boss for permission to scooch closer, she waited. Totally confused, he asked if she was terrified of getting scorched. Admitting she obsessed over the heat, the icy kid shook her head. Walking right up to the blaze, she hyped up how cozy it felt and called her boss awesome. Keeping an eye on the kiddo, he counted his lucky stars that her freezing aura was just a chill background buff. Had her tier been insanely high, his fiery knuckles would have instantly fizzled out against that gnarly blizzard energy. Drifting off, she mumbled about her boss being super toasty before crashing right on his thigh. Flinching back slightly, he muttered about her being a tiny menace. Despite everything, he let her crash there. Guessing it was fine, he just surrendered because she was insanely adorable. Tossing a quilt over both of them, he firmly announced this was a one-time thing with zero encores. Finally, the highly anticipated meet and greet for the Zesty Noodle champion dropped. The lineup was absolutely massive, wrapping around the block. The crowd was going wild, screaming their lungs out for the tangy ramen idol. Our guy was posted up right in the chaos, gripping his poster. His whole game plan was playing the ultimate superfan to sneak near the fiery soup icon. Sadly, the mob was thick as a brick wall, catching a boot to the toes, and someone randomly tugging his locks. He struggled. Then, a curvy lady grabbed the mic, hyping up the arrival of their zesty idol. Hyping up the squad, she screamed into the mic to check their energy. The entire mob roared back, totally pumped and locked in. Not satisfied, the host demanded maximum volume from the pit. On cue, the fans lost their minds, chanting their undying love for the spicy ramen legend. Bursting onto the platform, the tangy noodle icon struck a sick pose and promised the city they were totally out of danger. Nothing can survive my punch, honestly. Right then, some dude totally shoved Yangjai. He tripped hard into the front row, but the spicy sour noodle hero grabbed him just in time. Watch out, kid. Gotcha. This time, the hero warned. Yangjai just stared, totally starstruck. My bad. I totally tripped. After the noodle hero set him down, Yangjai hyped him up and introduced himself as Yang 11. They locked hands for a quick shake. The hero flashed a peace sign, saying what's up. The crowd went totally feral, screaming for their absolute favorite guy. Everyone was super salty about Yangjai's luck. But that handshake wasn't just a flex, he was actually plotting something. Gripping his hand, Yangjai dropped the ultimate fanboy line, "Yo, I'm your biggest supporter." Later, the event manager sighed. Thank God this chaotic meet and greet is wrapped. She gave her boss a quick shout out. Obviously, he groaned. But, seriously, touching that many sweaty hands is absolutely draining and gross. Get me some hand sanitizer right now. I'm begging you. Hopping into the ride, he barked, hit the gas. I need a power nap before tonight's gig. She just rolled her eyes. Whatever, she checked if he wasn't pushing himself too hard. Slamming the door, he snapped. Gotta hustle, no matter how brutal it gets. Oh, and block out next weekend completely. It's my kid's birthday, and I'm not missing it. She gave him a quick nod and finally took off. Chilling alone in the back seat, he cursed. My loans are insane. I need to drop another massive bag of cash to clear this mess. Why did I even hit the casino again? Whatever, I just gotta win it all back. Suddenly, Yangjai popped up in the rearview mirror. Must be pretty draining living like a mess. Huh? The guy whipped around, panicking. Wait, you're the dude who wrecked the evil dragon. How are you in my car? Yangjai just smirked telepathically. You've got an energy core inside you, obviously. I tracked its vibe. Chill out, though, I just need some answers. The boss was sweating. Knowing this kid literally soloed heavyweights like Evil Dragon and Lazy Swordsman, a fight was automatic game over for him. Spilling the tea was his only survival strat. He nervously started talking. Look, me and the dragon guys might rep the same agency, but we're definitely not on the same level. He begged for mercy, praying Yangjai wouldn't hold a grudge. Yangjai just scoffed. Bro, you've got this all twisted. You're literally the only guy holding the missing puzzle piece. Just look right at me for a sec. The second they made eye contact, Yangjai activated his mind hack powers, diving straight into the noodle hero's subconscious headspace. Looking around, he muttered, so this is what the spicy noodle dude's brain actually looks like? Cinematic flashbacks were floating everywhere. He was literally scrolling through the guy's entire life story. Where's the stuff about that blue tablet? He thought. Suddenly, a glitched memory popped up showing a faceless dude holding the exact pill. Who even was that guy? He crept closer to the memory bubble and tuned in. The shady stranger tossed the pill to the hero in the car. This takes you to Tier 1. Say goodbye to your massive debts. You'll finally get your family back. The hero looked desperate. For real? Just hand it over, man. But the guy held it back, demanding some exclusive intel as payment. The hero frowned. What kind of secrets? Like the dirty laundry of your fellow supers? The stranger smirked. The hero caved and just started spilling all the tea. Dog Hero is doing super shady stuff behind the scenes, and that psycho Topora is literally trapping innocent kids, he confessed. Yangjai thought, is this the dark secret I'm looking for? Can you seriously just buy these power pills with gossip? Did they make more trades? Yangjai swiped through the guy's mental archives, trying to spot any other secret meetups between them. Bingo. They had linked up a second, third, and even a fourth time. During their next catch-up, the creepy dude asked the hero if he'd caught wind of some random kid unlocking the ultimate Yuji power. The hero nodded. Yeah, dude totally humbled the CEO's kid and wiped the floor with evil dragon and lazy swordsman. The stranger leaned in, fishing for any solid details about how this Yuji kid's powers actually work. He was super pushy, demanding every single scrap of intel on this new player. Getting hyped, the hero blabbed. Rumor says he literally cancels out other people's powers, but he stays totally anonymous online and offline. So nobody actually has a clue what his face looks like. The stranger hummed. What's his whole vibe then? A faceless kid who can completely delete superpowers. Okay, that's wildly fascinating. That shady dude tossed over the stash. Before dipping, he ordered the guy to dig up everything on the Yugi user before his kid's birthday next week. The guy nodded. Skimming through those flashbacks, Yangjai pieced it together. Those blue meds totally prey on the insecurities of powered folks, twisting their minds to boss them around. Turns out they pull the strings of mad heroes in the shadows. What is the endgame here? A bit later, the dude in the ride snapped awake, mumbling, "Real heroes always forgive." He glanced back, noticed Yangjai vanished, and muttered, "Where did bro sneak off to?" The sun was already down. Liu Yun was chilling, waiting for Yangjai, whining, "Why is Godfather lagging? These bugs are literally eating me alive." Yangjai popped up out of nowhere asking, "What are you babbling about?" Liu Yun absolutely lost it, sprinting over like, "Godfather, you actually made it. I have been stuck out here forever." Whipping out a container of blue meds, Liu Yun flexed, "I busted my back, scoring these from some ice explorer." Yangjai eyed the stash, noticing the vibe and shade completely matched the stuff that the spicy sour noodles hero carried. Definitely the exact same drug. Liu Yun then dropped the bomb that those meds made the explorer accidentally end a guy. He wondered if the fallout from taking that blue stuff was seriously that toxic. Yangjai hit him with the truth. Chasing clout and power makes these fake heroes do literally anything. You think they care about some bad reactions? Liu Yun yelled, "No cap, Godfather. Those trash cans do not even deserve the hero title." Yangjai threw a curveball. "So what exactly makes a real hero then?" Liu Yun froze, thinking, "Hold up, is the crew testing my loyalty right now?" Taking a quick second to brainstorm, he spit out, "Basically, major power comes with major baggage, and heroes gotta make saving the world their whole personality. Selling out for hype or juice is totally lame." Yangjai internally cringed hard, thinking, "Bro is so dense. I actually believed in him. Did he rip that straight out of a comic book?" Still, he hyped Liu Yun up, saying the cash they banked earlier easily covered a tier D power juice. He chucked the bottle at him. Liu Yun snagged it, asking, "Wait, is this seriously only tier D?" Yangjai warned him to level up step by step instead of rushing for the top spot. "Hand it back if you are going to complain," he snapped. Liu Yun quickly claimed it, thanking his boss and gushing, "This crimson shade looks absolutely sick." He chugged the whole thing down. Swallowing, he cringed, "Bro, why does this literally taste like tomato sauce?" Yangjai gave his shoulder a tap, secretly plotting to link up a pair of tier E orbs first. He brushed it off, telling Liu Yun it was all in his head. Right then, Liu Yun merged a couple of skills and scored a tier D power. Skill unlocked, Wolf Mode. Breakdown. Bro can totally shift into a beast whenever he wants. 0 moon required. Rating. Definitely not your average dog. Liu Yun looked confused. So weird. Why did I not change shape yet? Yangjai rolled his eyes mentally, knowing the shift would not pop off without triggering the orb first. Smirking, he suggested, "You probably just gotta warm up to catch the vibe." Liu Yun braced himself, panicking, "Yo, what is your plan?" Yangjai clocked him right in the jaw, declaring, "Chill out. Tough love is the only way to buff your stats." Groaning, Liu Yun begged, "Boss, please chill." Morphing straight into a beast, he flexed and realized his skills definitely leveled up. "Holding that mode has gotta drain your stamina, right?" Yangjai asked. Shifting back to normal, Liu Yun announced, "All good, I am human again, bet?" Yangjai nodded. "Now, keep your eyes peeled for any signs of those blue meds. Those users are total head cases." Yangjai warned him to stay sharp. Zipping up his coat, Liu Yun confirmed he got the memo and appreciated the backup. "Plus, for your next side quest," Yangjai threw in, "you need to stalk any capes doing shady stuff off the grid." Liu Yun blinked. "Why though? Are we desperately trying to recruit people?" Yangjai scoffed. "We do not just let randos in. Those fakes are literally just crafting ingredients." Stopping in his tracks, Liu Yun questioned, "Crafting ingredients?" Is the squad going to leech their juice? Yangjai smirked. How else do you think we brew power-ups? So grind hard, Liu Yun. You gotta farm way more drops to upgrade your own stats. Blown away, Liu Yun thought, man, sweating all day only bumped me up to tier C. He hollered back, bet. I will totally crush this gig. Later on, Yangjai hit a totally dead shore and finally peeled off his disguise. He figured a pitch black, empty beach was the ultimate spot to level up his Snow Girl's powers. Popping his summon skill, Little Snow instantly materialized, rushing her boss with massive hugs and saying how much she missed him. Yangjai barked at her to chill. It was grind time, and he challenged her to a serious sparring match to test her limits. She hesitated, totally scared of scratching him. He just scoffed. Look, you're literally just a ranked spirit pet. You couldn't scratch me if you tried. Pouting, she finally agreed, warning him she was going all in. Bring it, he smirked. But right then, a sketchy dimensional rift ripped open right behind her back. Out crawled this totally jacked freak called a pumped frog, basically a mutant amphibian obsessed with gains and rocking massive biceps. Its stats flashed visibly. Clocking the threat, Yangjai muttered. Great, a literal monster raid. Whatever, it's just a scrub D-class wave. Except, a second freak show suddenly spawned right after. Enter the predatory unicorn, a vicious aquatic nightmare that could literally sprint across the ocean surface. Fully panicking, he screamed a warning to his summon. She spun around, totally caught off guard. Suddenly, a crazy blinding flash erupted. What the heck? He squinted, only to see she had completely glowed up into an adult. This taller, badass version glared at the beasts, hissing, "You actually want to die?" While the swole frog scrambled up. She straight up trashed the amphibian creep. Stunned, her boss stuttered, "Whoa, you totally evolved." She casually mentioned this was just her battle fit. Looking at her savage new vibe, he blurted out, "That's insanely hardcore, utterly ruthless." True to form though, she instantly flash froze that gym bro toad. Slipping his mask on, he asked if the thing was dusted. "Nope," she replied. Right as the mutant shattered its icy prison, he countered by blasting his plasma skill. But this mutant proved ridiculously tough to pin down. "Lock it down," he yelled. "On it, boss," she smirked, absolutely bodying the creature into the dirt. Crouching over the carcass, he looted a D-class skill drop straight from it, called Physical Conditioning. The stat page read, "Passively buff stamina and raw power by constantly grinding out workouts. You gotta push your limits to break the natural cap, though maintaining that peak state drains you fast." Gliding over to his side, his summoned partner gently tried getting his attention. He realized they were definitely missing a target. Scanning the beach, he muttered, "Wait, where's that creepy pony?" Staring at the skyline, she guessed the beast was making a beeline for downtown. He nodded grimly, time to hunt it down. But first, he asked what the deal was with her sudden glow-up, and she coyly claimed she just needed out. "You seriously trying to bench me again? Major buzzkill?" Freaked out, he cautiously asked if she was okay. Getting close, she whispered that her real name was Lin Nai. Dropping the whole pet act completely, pinning him, she warned him not to get any bright ideas about suppressing her. Claiming she was the alpha now, she leaned in for a kiss, but suddenly reverted to her chibi state. Catching her, he asked, "Wait, are you back to normal?" Blinking, she asked if she had just totally zoned out. Giving her head a pat, he sighed. "You blanked on everything, huh?" "Literally zero clue," she chirped. She actually thought they were still in the middle of their sparring session. He realized she basically had split personalities, and the two versions didn't share a single brain cell or memory. Thrilled by the head pats, she started begging for cuddles, totally clinging to him like a puppy. He mentally shrugged, at least both versions were totally obsessed with him. Confused, she mumbled about feeling super drowsy. "If you're drained, just go log off in your space," he offered. Waving cutely, she promised she'd miss him tons. Popping out of existence, she vanished. He scoped the waves, confirming the rogue target was definitely making for the mountains. Cut to this dude Lu Yuan flexing his sports car on the coast road, hyping himself up as some untamed alpha predator on the prowl. Out of nowhere, the ocean started churning weirdly, catching his eye and totally killing his vibe. Squinting at the surf, he spotted literal nightmare fuel, panicked hard, slammed the brakes, and sprinted toward a beach party. He completely lost it, screaming at the oblivious crowd to drop their snacks, because a massive freak was coming. One chick noticed his flailing and pointed him out. Her friend just rolled his eyes. "Okay, cool. He drives a flashy sports car, big deal. Guy's probably just an attention-starved clout chaser trying to look cool." But another girl shushed the group, actually trying to decode his frantic screaming. The second his warning registered, They all whipped their heads toward the surf just in time to see a gargantuan leviathan breaching. Lu Yuan totally froze. Like, did they actually need saving? Even so, he bolted straight toward them, totally surprised by his own lightning-fast reflexes. Catching his drift, the girl with the short bob just thrashed around in the waves, totally screaming for a lifeline. This heavier dude snatched her arm, yelling at her to grip the floating driftwood like her life depended on it. Lulu, the short-haired chick, begged him to grab hold too. Clinging to the timber, the guy sighed, totally relieved she was safe and sound. He tried opening his mouth, but zero chance some freaky sea beast suddenly lunged, literally chomping his arm clean off. Right then, Lu Yuan paddled fiercely toward Lulu, yelling at her to hurry over so he could drag her safely onto the beach. But Lulu totally panicked, crying that Puffy just got yanked underwater, and literally begged Lu Yuan to rescue him instead. Lu Yuan promised he would handle it right after securing her. Hurry up and swim over before that freak show circles back. Lulu tightly latched onto him, sobbing about being terrified of the creature. Sweeping her up, he just powered through the waves toward dry land. Geez, she looks super tiny, but why is she built like a brick? Suddenly, the loud chopping of chopper blades echoed from above. A rescue chopper hovered overhead. Inside, a reporter announced that the newsroom was blowing up with wild sightings of a sea beast and massive swells hitting Lugong Beach. They needed to scope out any survivors. Squinting down below, she instantly spotted a pair stranded right on the coastline. She broadcasted live that this crazy duo somehow dodged the absolute worst and totally survived the nightmare against all odds. Zooming in closer, she totally gasped. Wait, check out the dude playing hero. That is literally the viral internet star, the one and only Lu Yuan. Is he seriously risking his neck just to flex for some cute chick? Meanwhile, Evil Dragon and Lazy Swordsman were busy sweating it out in a sparring session. Evil Dragon randomly mentioned that the hero Bing Chuan tagged along with his old man to crash some super boring Hero Association summit. Lazy Swordsman teased, asking if somebody was getting a little salty. Did he seriously believe Lai Kongyang actually stole his spotlight? Yeah, I was totally salty. Evil Dragon snapped back. But sweating here definitely beats kissing up to some stuffy politician any single day. I would rather stay weak than gain power like a total sellout. Suddenly, Lazy Swordsman yelled at him to check out the breaking news stream right this second. Some totally mutated freak just crashed the beach. And guess what? His little bro was caught right in the absolute crossfire. Evil Dragon leaned super close to the screen, claiming it had to be a glitch. His little brother would literally lose his mind if he faced a real monster. He normally ghosts at the first sign of trouble. Why stand his ground now? Squinting at the live feed, he muttered that it was literally impossible. The chopper reporter totally panicked, warning that the beast was closing the gap, praying aloud that backup would drop in before it was too late. Gripping the edges of the flat screen, Evil Dragon totally growled. Why the heck is that little punk Lu Yuan suddenly playing the Shining Knight? He needs to just ditch the chick and save his own skin. But the nightmare creature was literally already breathing down Lu Yuan's neck. Lazy Swordsman cringed hard, calling it a complete game over. Freaking out, Evil Dragon angrily ranted about how that was his precious baby brother out there. But then Lazy Swordsman yelled at him to just chill for a sec. Looked like his kid brother actually had some secret shapeshifting tricks up his sleeve too. Totally stunned, Evil Dragon asked, "Wait a second, since when could my baby bro actually morph like that?" Meanwhile, back on the beach, Lu Yuan had officially pulled the girl straight out of harm's way. She practically worshipped him, calling him her absolute savior. Lu Yuan just smirked, warning her not to fangirl too hard over a living legend, before charging the beast head-on, yelling that real dudes never ever back down. He totally swore he would obliterate the freak. Over on the sidelines, Yangjai successfully fished out the heavy dude, sighing that a few seconds later would have been a total bloodbath. All right, time to sit back and finally watch his awesome godson totally throw down. Lu Yuan dashed right up to the beast, catching its massive hoof barehanded, and smirked that he had totally been baiting that exact move. He whipped the massive freak around like a totally helpless ragdoll and literally yeeted it across the sky. Lu Yuan proudly declared that the moment this thing attacked, his days of hiding and crying for backup were officially over. He has to absolutely eclipse his older brother and the old man to finally secure that sweet S-tier hero status. Watching the epic flex, Yangjai shouted massive props, totally taking back his doubts. Just then, Lulu's two besties sprinted over. Her guy friend breathed a massive sigh of relief, saying she literally nearly gave him a heart attack, while the other chick immediately asked where Puffy went. Lu chimed in, sadly dropping the bomb that some gnarly creature dragged him under while he was bravely playing human shield for her. The two besties dropped their jaws, totally completely shook. Lulu pointed straight at Lu Yuan, promising that this absolute Chad of a hero swore he would bring the heavy dude back. Cut back to Lu Yuan, who was suddenly coughing up seawater. What the heck was actually happening? Crap. Why was his body totally paralyzed? It was the beast's dirty trick. The freak rushed back, impaling him with its horn, while the chopper chick kept live streaming the chaos. On mic, she gasped that Lu Yuan took a brutal spine shot, getting absolutely wrecked by a nasty double kick combo. His odds were totally trash now. At the dojo, Evil Dragon snapped out of it, bolting out to back up his little bro. Lazy Swordsman hollered right after him, asking what the massive rush was all about, smirking as he randomly added, "Look at you stressing over your kid brother, though I told him to guard civilians too." Meanwhile, Lu Yuan kept throwing hands with the freak, refusing to ever tap out. Bro was hurting bad, yet the beast lunged back for seconds. Seriously? Round 2? Our boy groaned. The streamer girl totally panicked, screaming that the freak was raging hard, before another massive blow landed. Gasping for air with a gaping chest wound, he spotted his bro and desperately begged for backup. He literally cried out to his boss man. The whole crowd was shook, convinced he was absolute toast. Was it game over? The fangirls shrieked for their idol to stay strong. Finally, having enough, our main guy tossed on his disguise to crash the party, making the crowd go wild. The hype was unreal. The streamer lost her mind, yelling that the internet-famous Phantom was back. Our masked legend whispered that the rich kid did amazing playing decoy and showing off those sick skills. Time to test if that magic tablet could soak up the energy. He was super hyped to find out. Summoning his own crazy powers, a glowing sword popped up and locked straight onto the target. Boom! Villain down. The reporter totally freaked, hyping how the masked dude one-shotted the creature effortlessly. The rich boy collapsed safely as his boss stomped over to the defeated creature, demanding to know who sent it. Time to pay up. He snagged the defeated foe's power right then and there. Just a basic low-tier skill. Skill unlocked. Wave Rider. Basically lets you walk on water and control currents for attacks. Pro tip, great for doing the dishes. Then our hero told the kid he could keep all the fame for the hype. He surfed right back to land. He dragged the boy and the pup to safety. His girl was so relieved the nightmare was finally over. Our bruised guy tried whining about his injuries, but immediately got tackled into a massive, tearful bear hug. She couldn't stop praising him for rescuing her fluffy pet and surviving the insane chaos. Loving the female attention, he acted tough. He called her adorable, but joked she was crushing his broken ribs. Fans started swarming the scene, wondering when he got a massive glow-up. Everyone thought he was just a spoiled Nepo baby. But he smirked, claiming the haters were completely wrong. He bragged about being an absolute legend who fights evil to keep the city safe as Lord UI. Watching his boss walk away, he felt super thankful for the save. He swore total loyalty forever. A random fan yelled that the masked dude was absolute fire, showing up, trashing villains, and ghosting without credit, totally living up to the hype. Suddenly, this major buzzkill shoved his way through the cheering fans. This cop-type guy accused our boy of using illegal superpowers and demanded he march straight to headquarters. Bystanders were totally confused about the newcomer, gossiping about his weird vibe. A dude pointed out the official logo on his jacket, wondering if he was legit government. Ugh, the official task force? Those guys are literally always ruining the fun for everyone. Such strict rule followers. The internet dubbed this specific agent a massive killjoy, since he takes his job way too seriously. Our boy argued he was just trying to protect innocent folks, but the agent totally shut him down. Doing superhero stuff without a permit is a massive zero-tolerance issue. Since he broke the rules, he was officially under arrest. Plot twist. His super tough older brother dropped in, threatening anyone who tried taking his sibling away. Fans lost their minds, seeing the famous, edgy powerhouse touchdown right next to the crime scene. When asked what he was doing there, the older sibling just smirked at how fast the kid was healing up. With 0 scratches left, Big Bro warned the youngster to stop acting like a total magnet for drama. The kid rolled his eyes, saying he totally understood. The strict agent backed off but demanded some heavy paperwork from their corporate lawyers right away. Secretly, the big sibling was super suspicious. This kid had literally never shown a single magical spark before. Where did these crazy powers come from? Anyway, cut to the next morning with our main guy chilling. He was just sitting there flexing his massive collection of nature powers, counting fire, electricity, metal bending, and that new wave trick. He started wondering if mixing them together would look sick. Kicking back, he told his little sister that after hoarding all these attack moves, grabbing a cool medic skill was next. That way, he could finally patch her up. Finding a top-tier healer was basically impossible though, So Yangjai figured his best bet was hijacking the sour spicy hero's body to dig up some clues. So he locked in on that exact plan. Tapping into his possession powers, he slipped straight into the dude from the car, totally hyped to see his mind-jacking trick actually worked. He tried flexing his metal-bending skills, but absolutely nothing happened. It hit him that physical powers clearly stayed parked in his original flesh. They didn't tag along for the soul ride. Drama was brewing nearby. Some chick was fully warning an older guy, threatening to absolutely wreck him if he tried pulling anything shady. The total creep kept inching way too close, trying to play it off like she was just totally misreading the vibe. He claimed that scoring a trainee spot over at the Divine Dragon Agency meant playing strictly by their twisted little rules. Snatching her wrist without warning, he smirked and dropped a question. He basically said every rookie here was gorgeous, demanding she keep both him and their top boss, the Reverend Lord, extremely happy. Turns out, this big boss possessed insane regeneration skills and a super shady reputation. Eavesdropping, Yangjai mentally paused. Wait, healing powers? Talk about absolute perfect timing. Meanwhile, the absolute trash bag was literally trying to rip her outfit off. She was sobbing and begging him to quit, so Yangjai swooped right in, totally yeeting the dude straight into the landscaping. Stumbling out of the dirt, the guy was raging, demanding to know which absolute psycho just dropkicked him. Yangjai just smirked, calling himself instant karma, ready to serve up a brutal beatdown. Dusting off leaves, the creep squinted. Wait, the sour spicy hero? He barked at him for totally crashing his personal business. Standing right between him and the sobbing girl, our hijacked hero loudly clapped back, asking how he would feel if his own little sister or kid was getting completely cornered by some absolute predator. He asked if that would make him see red. The guy just rolled his eyes, claiming this chick had been totally fine interning with them for ages. He insisted she was no victim at all, fully swearing she would do absolutely anything for a real shot at the spotlight. Hitting her absolute breaking point, she screamed at him to shut his mouth, completely denying his entire twisted little story. Our spicy protagonist fully backed her up, warning the trash bag to seriously step off before things got permanently, incredibly ugly. Facing the rookie, he dropped some solid wisdom, saying real heroes gotta grind hard for their dreams instead of taking crazy, shady shortcuts. Drying her eyes, she totally caught his drift, acting incredibly grateful that he swooped in just in time to rescue her. She basically called our hero a total sweetheart, screamed at her harasser for being complete garbage, and immediately bolted from the scene. The villain was doing fast mental math, recalling rumors that this specific hero literally needed a massive flavor boost just to power up. Figuring the buff only held for 15 minutes, and he had zero snacks handy, the dude got suddenly cocky and started talking massive trash, whining loudly about losing his target and having his whole night wrecked. He fully threatened our boy with some major, painful payback. Totally unbothered, Yangjai just stared blankly and asked what exactly he was actually going to do about it. The creep lunged, promising to snap his bones, but our hero casually popped a capsule, triggering a blazing hot power-up that left the dude completely shook. Following that up, he delivered an absolutely brutal, breath-stealing gut punch. Gasping for air, the villain groaned, realizing he totally blanked on the whole pocket-sized flavor pill loophole. Still, he was hard banking on that 15-minute timer, swearing he would end him once it ticked down. Our guy just smirked, mocking the supposed time limit. Deep inside, Yan 11 knew his ghost did not carry physical quirks, but it definitely brought along some incredibly insane raw spiritual juice. Stacking up so many stolen powers over time had seriously, permanently leveled up his actual soul core. His internal battery was terrifyingly massive now. The original host always tapped out fast because throwing big moves totally drained your base stamina. The original owner basically just spammed his attacks terribly until he completely gassed out every single time. But with that wild octopus charm totally backing his play, Yan 11 could unleash his full aura entirely effortlessly, meaning his newly powered-up state got insanely better mileage. Using his heavily enhanced senses, he easily spotted the creep desperately trying to take cover. He mocked him for playing hide-and-seek, snatching the dude right by the shirt. Totally freaking out, the guy nervously stuttered, asking how he tracked him. He basically asked if he was truly just a B-rank scrub. Our boy just grinned widely, casually mentioning he had been keeping his god-tier stats severely under wraps. The absolute creep instantly threw in the towel, pathetically begging for a free pass just this one single time. He even tried throwing straight cash at the problem, wildly promising his corporate dragon overlords would definitely pay up a massive bounty. Yangjai, totally played along, claiming he would drop him if there was absolutely zero payback later. But then he grabbed him in a super questionable way, sweating bullets at the weird grip. The guy shrieked, asking what he was doing and if he was into dudes. Our spicy legend just gave a perfectly sinister smirk. The dude totally begged the sour, spicy hero to chill out and just talk things over peacefully. Yangjai figured this was the perfect chance to seriously teach that creep a lesson while completely dodging any payback. From now on, everyone would just blame the sour, spicy hero instead. Right after, our spicy guy literally snatched the dude's ankle and yanked him straight into the bushes. You could hear him screaming from the shrubs, begging to keep his clothes on. A little later, once the spicy hero wrapped up his humiliating little photo shoot, he shifted back to his normal self and bounced. He smirked, knowing those blackmail pics would absolutely stop that trash from ever bothering girls again. A quick phone alert confirmed the locked photos were basically undeletable, meaning the park ranger was permanently silenced. Glancing at the screen, the sour, spicy hero muttered, "Consider that a massive reality check. He gets it now. All right, got what I needed. Time to ditch this vessel." With that, Yangjai instantly snapped off his mind control. The actual spicy hero finally snapped out of it, blinking around confusedly. Wait, am I still at the park? Did I literally just pass out? Then he checked his screen, seeing the permanent photo lock notification pop up. He then muttered, "What even are these pictures?" But the second he actually looked at them, his jaw dropped. What the actual heck is going on here? Meanwhile, over at the Lugong City Hero HQ, a cyborg dude and his whole squad were having a serious meetup. Branch boss Wu Shai and his co-captain, a Yang ran the meeting, demanding everyone's support for the Phase 1 defense plan. The hazard zones were completely off the charts right now. A Yang stepped up, explaining that after prep time, the whole crew would coordinate a massive strike to shove those freaky monsters back to their own dimension. Basically, they needed to look like total bosses driving the monsters away. The two guys chilling in the back were totally hyped by this. One dude swore they absolutely had to back the squad up. He was honestly ready to risk it all. But his buddy just scoffed. "Yeah, right. I'd rather wreck them. That's literally their entire job." The cyborg hero thought it over, realizing HQ just wanted every guild to drop a ranked fighter into the hazard center to lock things down. The real motive was super obvious though. Cosplaying as a fearless monster slayer was basically a giant cash grab. Even crazier, rumors claimed the monster dimension could literally glitch out and upgrade your gear, armor, or weapons for free. That insane loot drop was exactly why he wanted in. Pure strength ruled everything over there. Snagging a top-tier superpower was the ultimate cheat code for any guild to absolutely dominate the ranks. The Ice Adventurer was also hyped and desperate to max out his frozen elemental stats. Fast forward to that evening, and Yangjai was running casual cloning experiments in his apartment. He spawned a replica and gave it a quick scan, noticing it actually absorbed some info. Still, it looked super janky. Diving back in, he brainstormed the perfect skill combo. First up, he had to totally scrap that weak metal bending power. Once that was gone, his plasma stats would absolutely skyrocket. Plus, he desperately needed a decent B-tier support buff. Smashing them all together unlocked a sick new ranked power called Shadow Swap. The stat sheet was pretty insane. He could literally teleport between 3 dark replicas mid-fight, and they even forged crazy weapons out of pure shadow energy. The system's official review? It completely roasted him, joking that he still couldn't form a full basketball squad. Yangjai tested the skill out, hyping his clone up about how incredibly badass and dominant it looked. Next up, he activated his disguise perk to alter his vibe, ready to hunt those shady ability-stealing saints. It was finally game time. Yangjai flew straight to the second sector of Xiao City. Stepping out of the terminal, the insane heat immediately slapped him in the face as he flagged down a cab. The driver rolled his window down, shocked he actually hailed from District 1, and asked for a destination before unlocking the doors. Just then, a text from Luyun popped up, confirming he emailed all the leaked intel on the Saints members. He wished his godfather super quick success. Chatting him up, the driver bragged about the city's massive gambling scene, totally insisting he hit up the local casino, Alibis Casino to be exact, promising that after scoring a massive win, Yangjai could safely ride back to his hotel. And he winked, adding, "Plus, since you're so young and fresh, I can recommend some wilder spots." Yangjai asked what the spot was. The cabbie smirked, saying it was Paris Dreams, a cheap joint, packed with wildly eager girls. Dude couldn't believe sketchy clubs like that ran completely under the radar here. Zhao was literally straight up anarchy. They pulled up to the Heaton Hotel shortly after. The guy demanded 500 Azure coins, leaving Yangjai totally shook. He wondered if the fare just skyrocketed fivefold out of nowhere. He questioned if the cabbie messed up the math. The driver just smirked and said the total was dead on. The extra cash was an advice tax. Just a tough lesson for a clueless newbie stepping into District 2. Suddenly, the driver whipped out a piece and aimed it right at Yangjai. He sneered, asking if deciding between breathing and keeping some cash was really that hard. Yangjai smirked back, saying he wouldn't blink, but school was officially in session. Instantly, he triggered his mind control powers. Strutting into the lobby, he hit up the front desk and snagged his plastic room pass. They mentioned the crew was on standby for anything he needed. He said thanks, while that exact same cabbie lugged his bags inside. The lobby chicks instantly started gossiping about the scene, totally mind blown. One girl muttered that she never figured a classy dude could force that savage driver to play bellhop. Her coworker chimed in, guessing he might even try taking her out for a bite later. Already chilling at the elevators, Yangjai ordered the driver to drop the bags upstairs and bounce. Since he was busy, the hypnotized guy just grunted okay. Riding up to floor 37, Yangjai scrolled through some hero's bio on his screen. The files showed this masked vigilante belonged to that super-powered Saints crew, flexing some high-tier skills. The target was literally right here in the Heaton Room 441, level 37. Shifting his form, Yangjai instantly morphed into a viper and slithered straight into the guy's suite. Inside, the dude was partying hard with a pair of chicks, coaxing one over for a cuddle. Suddenly, the babe in the back spotted danger and shrieked. The guy whipped around, yelling to show yourself, but Yangjai was already striking. The hero snapped at his dates, screaming about leaving the door wide open. Snatching the two women out of harm's way, Yangjai listened to them hurl insults at their former host. The vigilante swore he would end him for letting him feast on the girl's panic. He lunged, but Yangjai effortlessly brushed off the strike. Stunned, the target demanded to know if that was legit dark magic. He guessed the intruder crept in using the darkness, but our guy just stayed totally mute. Acting like an icy badass was honestly kinda exhausting for him, mainly because he took this whole thing super personally. The enemy secretly realized he'd be toast without the fear boost from those chicks. Yangjai fired off more darkness, but the guy barely slipped away. The dude shouted, demanding a name while desperately name-dropping his elite Saints squad status. He threatened that the syndicate would literally peel him apart for this disrespect, yet got absolutely zero response. Furious now, the masked guy lost his temper, asking if the intruder had completely busted ears. Certain his next punch would hit home and seal the win, he swung hard only for Yangjai's fist to casually phase straight through his skull. Trembling like a leaf, the tough guy instantly broke down, sobbing for his life. He warned that some priest would hunt him down, bawling for a pass. Instead, Yangjai ripped the dude's mask off and shoved it down his throat, calling him absolute trash. He didn't waste time and ripped the superhuman skill right out of his soul. The power was literally called Fear Mask. It basically sponged up terror to buff its user's stats. Straight up 10 out of 10 skill for a slasher flick. Freaking out, the victim started shrieking about where his powers vanished to. He screamed for a refund, crying that the priest was going to end them both over this. Yangjai just smirked and said it was time to meet this famous preacher boy through a quick mind dive. Activating his mind hack, he crashed straight into the loser's brain, binge-watching his darkest flashbacks like a movie. Yan Cizi's voice boomed in the background, showing scenes from an epic superhuman turf war. Wait, did this guy actually die back then? The playback showed the vigilante bleeding out on his last breath. A mysterious dude rolled up, offering a sketchy revive in exchange for total loyalty. The bleeding guy instantly agreed. Jumping back up, the newly revived guy frantically asked about his parents, stunned that he had cheated death. He fell to his knees worshipping the stranger as the light priest, right before Yangjai snapped the mind connection shut. Piloting the hero's body, Yangjai hit the docks, catching sight of a crimson shipping crate. It clicked he totally blanked on a major detail about that exact box. The memories of what went down inside suddenly came flooding right back to him. That chick they call Bloodthirsty Rose mentioned a blade wielder crashing their hidden lab. The masked dude totally backed her up, saying it was legit. Rose wouldn't even break a sweat handling her. Just say the word, and I'll take her out in a heartbeat. The Deep Sea Army boss chimed in, claiming he'd handle the hit. She's an A-tier powerhouse, so what made this guy think he stood a chance? Somebody raised an eyebrow at that. The Earth Magus just rolled his eyes, totally brushing off her A-tier status like it was nothing. Why would the Saints followers sweat over some random high-tier fighter? The masked guy, the commander, and the spellcaster then headed straight to the high priestess. He called them clueless and ordered them to drag the sword chick over, so he could have some fun. The trio nodded, totally getting the memo. The masked warrior joked that he was seriously overdue for a chill vacation after this mess. Then the sea commander bossed the masked dude around, yelling at him to step up. Turning around, the masked guy asked what the game plan was. The boss dropped the intel. The stash just hit Dock 1, buried deep inside a giant red crate. You need to scout it out tomorrow and dig up any dirt on this girl. Find anything, and you hit me up instantly. You break it, you buy it. Don't mess this up, and this golden opportunity is all yours to take. Thinking back on that, Yangjai doubted he could even crack the vault. Seriously, what kind of sketchy cargo was locked in there anyway? Stepping up to the metal beast, he spotted a fingerprint scanner. Too easy, he whispered to himself, flexing his plasma powers. He bypassed the lock and slipped inside. Heading down the hidden steps, he realized the whole crate was literally just a decoy. The actual loot had to be buried way further down. Suddenly, a totally nasty stench hit him like a truck. What on earth is that massive funk? Wait, is that actual blood? Reaching the bottom level, he spotted some dude chilling at a desk. Is this guy seriously the bouncer? He thought. The guard noticed him, jumped to his feet, and threw a salute to the masked VIP. Playing it cool but slightly awkward, our guy asked for the daily report. The guard spilled the tea, saying some seriously high-value merch just dropped. He asked how anyone could get bored of these freaks so fast. Yangjai was totally lost. What freaks was this guy even talking about? Was this really the stash? Playing along, he demanded the guard to just show him the goods already. The guard walked him down a hallway lined with holding pens, security feeds showing little kids completely bawling their eyes out. Walking past a cage, the guard snapped at a sobbing kid to shut up, threatening that the masked boss would beat the living daylights out of them. The young ones totally froze. Yangjai was disgusted, realizing these so-called saints locking up kids in a hellhole was purely psycho behavior. Looks like these tiny hostages were snatched from all over the globe, and they were literally just babies. The oldest in the bunch couldn't be older than 15 or 16. Losing his cool, he yelled that these goons were practically begging to get wrecked. I am gonna make every single person involved pay for this. Nearby, some thug was screaming at a captive that he would pound him into the dirt. You seriously bit me? The thug roared, throwing another punch and yelling about payback. Right then, our masked hero stepped up and ordered him to drop it. Getting all up in his face, the masked boss mocked him. Are you actually struggling with this punk? The guard just nodded. Out of nowhere, the masked guy lunged and literally tore a chunk of the guard's ear clean off with his teeth. Staring the victim down, Yangjai admitted the kid had sharp eyes. The masked enforcer then interrogated the bleeding guard about what sparked the fight, making the guy stutter. He stammered for an excuse, but got cut off when a high-ranking cultist named Two-Handed Sword Mantis randomly crashed the scene. Mantis brushed it off, saying the guard's twisted intentions were totally written all over his ugly face. The creep was planning something super messed up with the boy's sister. Yangjai felt sick to his stomach as he spotted a terrified girl huddled in the corner. The sword-wielding freak just smirked, calling it a total shame that she was practically paralyzed with fear. Still reeling from the shock, Yangjai mentally branded them all as absolute monsters. Meanwhile, Mantis strolled right up to our disguised hero. Bro, he started. I thought you were out living your best life on vacation. Why are you lurking around down here? Did those two blonde chicks I set you up with actually live up to the hype? Playing along, he smirked and said they were fine, but he was strictly on business today to audit the cargo for the sea boss. Let the kid go, our guy commanded. He is worth way too much cash. Mantis then crept closer to the beaten captive. Snatching the boy by his jaw, he mocked him trying to play the survival game. Fine by me, kid. Even if we knock out every tooth in this premium brat's head, he will still fetch a crazy bag. The bruised kid hissed back in a foreign tongue. You are all dead meat. Our disguised hero just leaned in and whispered for him to chill. His revenge was coming real soon. Mantis raised an eyebrow and asked if the kid actually understood a single word they were saying. Our masked guy smirked. Plus, I swore I'd make his dream come true. You seriously wasted a trip, didn't you? Right after that, he shoved his massive broadsword straight through the insect dude, who choked out. Man, why? We're way too alike, straight from the exact same hell. The masked dude shot back. That's when the dying bug finally clocked that this wasn't his actual ally. Way too late for revelations, though. His head was already rolling, the dude missing an ear, and the guard who escorted our anti-hero stood there, absolutely frozen, watching it all go down. What the heck just happened? The one-eared guy freaked out, while the guard yelled at our masked protagonist, "You're all catching bodies today." The masked fighter warned before instantly wiping them out, letting Yangjai snatch up their skills. A kid named Juan stepped up. Who exactly are you? He asked. Just your friendly neighborhood savior, the masked guy answered. Yuan wasn't buying it. Didn't you just terrorize those kids earlier? The masked dude just smirked. Just wait and see how this plays out. With a quick slash, he shattered the cuffs, sealing the kid's powers, totally setting him free. Hang tight for a sec, the masked hero told Yuan. Gotta go trash the mob outside. Meanwhile, the newly freed boy rushed straight to his sister. Tragically, she was already gone. The brutal sight gave Yangjai flashbacks of his own sibling. Stepping out, a guard randomly screamed, "Arrest that guy!" Instantly swarmed by enemies, our masked hero just roared, "Drop dead, you absolute trash." He literally diced the whole squad into mincemeat. Out of nowhere, the Sound Lord popped up behind him, clapping. "Not bad," he smirked, nodding at his spear-wielding buddy. "We're jumping this masked freak together," he told his partner. "Let's see if he can actually dodge this." "Say less," the spear user agreed. "I'm rushing him first." But the Sound Lord interrupted, telling him to hold up until the beat dropped. The moment he unleashed his powers, an insanely agonizing migraine hit everyone in the room. This track could literally shatter someone's mind, Yangjai realized. Lucky for me, my mental stats are totally maxed out. The little ones are gonna get wrecked by this, though. Gotta shut him up fast. Suddenly, the sound boss faked taking a massive hit, bragging that his vibes were totally unstoppable. The audio villain cursed the masked fighter, telling him to rot in hell. Instead, our guy channeled Yangjai's energy, vanishing completely before teleporting right above the music freak and delivering a brutal spine kick. Spitting up a pool of blood, the sound guy frantically screamed for his buddy to back him up. His partner launched a javelin straight at our protagonist's dome, but it barely even fazed him. With zero hesitation, the masked fighter finished the music boss off. The spear guy freaked out, totally stunned that his boy was actually dead. "Why the heck are you targeting our guild?" he yelled. The masked guy just tilted his head. "Why do you think? Playing the hero for these kids? Chasing justice?" The spear user scoffed. "Justice, my foot. You honestly think you're any better than us? Even if you beat me, there's absolutely zero chance you're making it out alive. Hate to break it to you, but the abyssal military boss is already pulling up." Unbothered, the masked hero just asked if they all had a death wish. "'Cause I'm literally going to slaughter you all," he warned. The spear user activated his buff, calling him a total moron and threatening to end him if he took one step closer. Our guy casually swatted the attack away, ending the spearman's life in a flash. Breathing out a heavy sigh, the victor muttered, "Well, that sucked." A kid watching from the locked cell cried out, "My big bro is bleeding out." "Barely a scratch." The masked guy brushed it off. "Anything to get you guys out of here." Popping the locks, he ordered them to evacuate fast, but keep it chill. "Single file, kids, no trampling each other." Yuan suddenly stepped out, holding his sister's body, looking deadly serious. He swore he was totally done being a weak, helpless victim. Desperate to reach the masked hero's insane power level, the kid begged to become his official student. "Sure thing," the masked man agreed. "But you gotta pledge your soul to me. You actually down for that?" Without missing a beat, Yuan locked in. "I'll be your most loyal follower ever." Yangjai activated his puppet control skill and tossed the kid a capsule, telling him to swallow it. "What is this?" Yuan asked. "Just a little bug-themed power boost," the masked guy replied. "It's a skill that literally morphs your hands into lethal spheres, just like that insect freak had." That upgrade guaranteed the kid could actually protect himself now. Yuan gave his new boss a massive thanks before dipping out. Once the kid was gone, the masked protagonist shifted focus to the dead bodies, straight up looting their magical stats. He mumbled about how much he messed up last time, just trying to extract a couple of orbs from some weird amphibian and wavy horse monsters. But today, he was farming drops left and right. Honestly, both the humans and the beasts were just pathetic. First on the agenda, leveling up his dark teleportation skill to A tier. That would definitely give him a massive edge against the cleric later. Fusing the skills together, he unlocked an epic A-class power, officially dubbing it Shadow Swap. Skill check. You can spawn up to 5 shadow clones mid-fight and instantly swap spots with any of them. Plus, grabbing someone else's shadow lets you forge weapons out of it. Pretty overpowered. Instant shadow puppets for when you're bored, too. Anyway, our masked dude finished his business and hopped out of the red crate. Suddenly, he's cornered by a girl pointing a sword at him, demanding to know his deal and why he has all these kids. She wasn't playing around. Instead of answering, masked bro just fired back. "Who are you?" The kids immediately swarmed her, cheering. "It's Sister Blanche." They were super hyped to see her. One kid quickly explained that masked bro actually saved them. Another chimed in, saying he even got hurt protecting the squad. Realizing she completely messed up, Blanche blushed hard. My bad. I totally got the wrong idea. I'm so sorry. Masked Bro just brushed it off. No sweat. We're cool. Then he asked, wait, are you actually Blanche? The A-rank sword hero? Yup, she nodded. Got a tip about human trafficking and rushed over. Didn't expect a masked guy to beat me to it. Blanche knelt down, patted Yufan, and apologized for taking so long. But suddenly, the whole vibe shifted, and the kids started panicking. Yo, what's happening? Masked Bro shouted. As creepy plant vines started dragging the kids underground, the little ones were screaming out for their older siblings, totally terrified, and begging for someone to help. Yufan cried out to him. Masked Bro just locked in, telling Yufan, stay put, I'm getting them back. Bloodthirsty Rose mocked him. You really think you can save anyone? Please, don't make me laugh. Did this guy think he was an anime protagonist? The enemy boss signaled Rose, the deep sea commander, and the earth wizard. He ordered them to show this roach true saint power, casually dropping a massive healing spell on his crew. Rose smirked. Spamming huge area attacks usually drains you out, but thanks to the High Priest's buff, our stamina just instantly recharges to full. The priest glared at Blanche. Hands off our merchandise. The Saints organization owns them. Give up now, and I might let you live. He shifted his gaze to Masked Bro. But this traitor? Dead meat. Yangjai just chuckled to himself. We'll see who's actually ending up in a body bag today. Blanche analyzed the threat. If he was just a B rank, I could easily solo him. But an A rank powerhouse like the priest? That's heavy. So she warned him. The Hero Association is already on the way. Drop your weapons right now, or you're literally asking for a death sentence. Seriously. Just forfeit before things get ugly. The priest just sighed, ordering Rose, the deep sea guy, and the earth wizard to speedrun taking Blanche out. Bag her before those annoying association heroes crash the party. Blanche drew her blade, popping her seal's power. Masked Dude was shocked she could unleash something that insane classic A-rank flex. The earth wizard instantly threw down a sand magic circle to trap Blanche in her tracks. It wasn't enough. She charged straight at the deep sea commander, glowing with raw seal energy. The commander casted his hydro flow skill, while Blanche countered perfectly with her sword dissection art. Suddenly, Rose played a completely dirty trick, snatching one of the little kids hostage to stall her. Laughing like a maniac, Rose taunted, try attacking now. Let's see if your sword cuts through this meat shield first. Blanche was absolutely livid. You're seriously hiding behind a kid? That's just sickening. Rose sneered back. Your soft heart is getting you killed. We have tons of captives, watch me not care. Meanwhile, the deep sea commander dissolved into a literal puddle. He rematerialized behind Blanche for a sneak attack, but Yangjai intercepted. The commander gasped as Yangjai joked, Bro almost cracked both my masks. Yangjai drew his own blade and slashed through the deep sea commander, dealing a fatal blow instantly. Blanche went in for the final kill, but Yangjai held her back. The high priest popped his holy healing. Seconds later, the nasty gash on the commander's neck knitted itself right back together. He cackled, bragging that as long as the priest was around, they were practically immortal gods. Right after, the priest spammed a massive buff, skyrocketing the stats of his three main fighters. Yangjai clocked the real threat. This priest's support magic literally boosts everyone's power level by a whole rank instantly. That earth wizard dude instantly started cooking up some heavy magic. Blanche yelled that he was charging up, warning everyone that this blast would straight up hit a completely new power tier if it dropped. Youngji knew a massive ranged blast would wreck the kids. He absolutely had to shut it down. He told Blanche to handle those two while he soloed the rest. Freaking out, she asked how anyone could survive that insane earth magic. And what happens to the little kids then? Youngji just told her to trust him. She couldn't figure out his mysterious vibe, but honestly, he felt super reliable. She completely bought it. Promising to clear his path, she instantly triggered her seal and totally blitzed right at that deep sea captain. The ocean boss completely blocked her incoming strike, but she was way more overpowered than he thought. Panicking, the sea captain screamed for bloodthirsty Rose to back him up right away. Rose just snapped back, asking how many times she had to ban him from using that stupid nickname. She then popped her floral magic, making the sword girl's energy levels drop massively. Rose smirked, claiming the girl was desperate for affection, and promised to force those feelings completely wide open. Is she feeling feverish yet? Taking advantage, the ocean captain triggered his duplicate trick. Spawning right behind her with a creepy laugh, he mocked her, asking if little sis needed her big bro to spoil her. Pushing through, Blanche funneled every ounce of leftover energy into popping her psychic seal. Completely shook, Rose yelled in disbelief. She had never seen a blade user rock psychic powers. Blanche flexed that she literally just unlocked it. It basically gives her a clutch respawn. right before she literally sliced Rose perfectly in two. Blanche totally bragged that the massive buff definitely paid off. Yes, I owe Rose for unlocking my inner drive. Watching this go down, the Earth Boss instantly triggered his ultimate form. He morphed into a massive dragon, making the terrified kids absolutely shriek their lungs out. Blanche literally froze up, but Yangjai spawned back in to bail her out again. Heavy mist swallowed the zone, and the dirt wizard suddenly appeared hiding behind the top cleric. Coughing awkwardly, the Earth Boss thanked the head priest for clutching up with those heals. Honestly, without that holy magic backing him up, that explosion would have totally wrecked him. The priest admitted things started out pointless. Beating the sword girl was easy mode until that masked weirdo totally crashed the party. That top cleric even got 2 high-tier squadmates completely wiped. The Earth dude told his boss to chill about the falling saints. With the top cleric alive, their squad would bounce back super fast. The head holy guy totally agreed with him. While she kept breathing, the Saint squad's Cloud and Shizu wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. The priest realized that masked dude easily one-shotted a scaling top-tier attack. Honestly, the guy is way more busted than him. Dipping was their only play, so they bailed. Yangjai just smirked, wondering why they ran, when he'd only let them live a few more minutes anyway. Walking up to the wrecked ocean boss, he completely claimed all of the guy's powers. He immediately ripped out the magic. It was a solid B- tier skill literally called Deep Sea Phantom. Info: boosts internal hydration to wildly buff your overall movement speed. Plus, it spawns tsunamis and liquid duplicates just from tapping into tiny puddles of nearby supreme water. Yangjai then announced Rose was up next. Strolling over, he roasted her about the brutal blade seal before completely snatching her magic too. This perk was also dropping in at A tier, iconically named after the savage floral girl. Info: spawns bloody creepers that shoot out massive stat buffing dust to completely overwhelm your opponents. Warning: high chance of your own plants going totally rogue. Review: this flower is insanely spiky. Bagging both of those epic drops, Yangjai figured he'd trash them down to F tier first, combine his older loot, and basically craft a brand new A tier superpower. He actually forged an A tier skill named Megamind. This totally maxes out your 5 senses, unlocks a 6th one, and wildly buffs your physical flow. Plus, you can shoot out a crazy pulse that stuns their nerves for an easy finish. Review: bro, are you seriously copying the entire bundle? Yangjai equipped the mod, instantly feeling every single shape, noise, and flavor completely dial up to extreme levels. Right then, Blanche, the swordswoman, finally snapped awake. She instantly grilled Yangjai about his power level. Like, could he actually trigger massive blasts? And who even was he? He casually dropped that he repped the judge's crew under Yuji. Blanche was totally lost. Wait, what's that? Never heard of them. Are you guys with the Hero Association? Pausing, she scanned the area, suddenly panicking over the missing kids. Yangjai just pointed right behind her back. Blanche hugged the little ones tight as they sprinted over. Though visibly shaken, the kiddos were super relieved. Blanche sighed. Thank goodness you guys are safe. Then she asked how they even pulled off that escape. One boy piped up, "The Master's shadow protected us." Another kid chimed in, "Yeah, shadows were literally everywhere." Super confused, Blanche pressed, "Who is this Master?" "Well," the boy started, "he secretly made her slice the vines and move us to safety first. Then, right when the blast hit, he whipped up a shadow shield that totally covered everyone." Blanche was low-key baffled. She almost questioned who this guy was before it suddenly clicked in her head. Spinning toward Yangjai, she praised his genius and said thanks, only to find thin air. Wait, where'd he dip? Right then, the Hero Association chopped through the sky. A loud voice boomed from the chopper above. "Hero Association on site. We're locking down the perimeter now. Nobody try anything crazy or stupid." As the bird touched down, media swarmed out. A rookie reporter nervously told her boss. This was her first live gig. Desperate for a scoop, she asked for an angle. Her crew told her to interview the sword girl. The newbie reporter quickly walked up and said hi. "Hey, I'm Lin Nixju with the association media team. Got a sec for a quick chat?" Blanche nodded. "Sure thing." She gave her intro. "I'm Blanche, an A-tier hero repping the exact same crew." The stream chat instantly blew up. One hyped viewer typed, "It's the A-class legend, Blanche." Someone else spammed, "We are live, baby. Absolutely insane. She is literally my ultimate bias." A third fan worried, "She looks pretty banged up, praying she's all right." Meanwhile, another dropped, "Wow, that rookie reporter is gorgeous." Lin pivoted back. "HQ, caught your distress signal and rushed straight down here to Shaju Port. The place is a total wreck." Blanche, what on earth actually went down today? Saying sorry for the scare, Blanche revealed she crashed the spot to rescue kids from the sketchy Saints Syndicate's trafficking ring. The chat went totally wild with shock. One user asked, "Wait, that sick stuff still happens?" Another posted, "Oh my god, my little bro vanished 6 months ago." Someone begged, "Are those kids actually safe now? Did they make it out?" Lin chimed in, "Yeah, I've heard dark rumors about that crew. They run illegal operations deep inside Xiao turf. Seriously, hoping the feds finally launch a massive probe into this." Blanche just shook her head, basically implying a clean takedown wasn't happening anytime soon. These guys have been at it forever, so she had to grind super hard just to infiltrate and gather intel. But against all odds, she successfully pulled the kids out. Viewers flooded the stream with love for the rescued victims. Everyone agreed the Hero Association absolutely needed to destroy that evil syndicate. Blanche admitted straight up that if she tried soloing their head priest, she'd have totally wiped. Thank God some masked dude crashed the party to assist. Lin immediately bit. Wait, who was this guy? Blanche confessed his combat stats were insane. He shattered their buff skills, a move basically locked to A-tier pros. The chat immediately went detective mode. One fan guessed, "Bro, could that be the legend Yuji?" Another demanded, "Drop his lore right now. We need the whole backstory on this mystery guy as soon as possible." Blanche pointed out, "Check the burnt ground, that was all him." She mentioned his weird mask had this sick snake design, and apparently, he flexed being part of the judges' faction, going by the alias, Snakes. Chat erupted into a massive debate again. One guy tried pausing it, asking, "Wait, didn't Yuji unlock that golden power?" Someone else fired back, "Nah, he was absolutely spamming lightning moves." Others were just completely lost in the hype. Meanwhile, a random comment argued that anyone packing A-tier stats or better needs an instant invite to the association. Glancing around the chaos, Lin noted, "Guess your mystery savior already bailed from the scene." Blanche revealed the priest actually slipped away. Pointing toward his escape route, she mentioned the masked dude was hot on his heels. Cut to the high priest and that earth wizard dude making a break for the parking garage. Once downstairs, the priest flexed about transferring the absolute last drops of his power over to the wizard. Like, his sand magic should totally be enough to wipe that annoying guy off the map, right? The earth wizard just smirked. "Oh, totally. I've literally saturated this whole area with my aura. Even his fancy plasma blasts won't do a thing now." Hearing that, the priest ordered him to grab a ride so they could dip fast. Plot twist. Yangjai was literally chilling in the shadows, listening to everything. Wait, are they seriously trying to run? He thought. Not happening. This garage is about to be their tomb. But right at that insanely tense second, his cell started blowing up. It buzzed like crazy. The two bad guys instantly whipped around, snapping, "Yo, who is hiding back there?" Sweating bullets, Yangjai panicked internally. "Seriously? Who on earth is calling me right this second?" The stupid thing just kept ringing, though, drawing the priest and the wizard straight toward his spot. Yanking it out, he muttered, "Lin, Nigu? Are you kidding me right now?" Still, the ringtone echoed loudly. The villains kept creeping closer. "Show yourself. Who's spying on us?" the earth guy demanded. Thinking fast, Yangjai triggered his outfit swap power, instantly popping back into his normal civilian clothes. He stepped into the light, picking up the call. "Hey, what's up?" he asked, while the wizard squinted. "Wait, is this dude just some random guy?" The priest wasn't buying it. "Don't let your guard down," he hissed. "We have to be absolutely certain." Over the phone, his girlfriend sweetly asked if he could guess her current location. Side-eyeing the villains, Yangjai played along. Where are you exactly? Aren't you just chilling at home?" Cut to Lin Nigu, who was literally riding in a chopper after an exclusive chat with Blanche. She excitedly announced she was out in show. Yangjai completely froze. "Shazu? Why the heck is she over there?" Trying to act normal, he said. "Babe, that city is super chaotic right now. Why go there?" She just laughed it off. "Oh, it's totally chill. I just had to tell you I officially scored the most incredible full-time gig ever." Intrigued, he asked, "Wait, doing what?" She spilled the tea. The Heroes Association hired her as a reporter. She just interviewed the Seal Swordswoman, Blanche, and was now hunting down the masked hero, Yuji. That completely threw him for a loop. He suddenly realized that with the entire association backing her, she'd easily track down his secret identity. Playing it cool, he cheered her on. He suggested they totally celebrate tonight and promised to grab her an awesome present right away. Gushing about how sweet he was, she agreed, and he told her to stay safe while she waited. Hanging up, Yangjai slipped back into the shadows and tossed his cell. The Earth Wizard totally bought it. mocking him for chatting with his girlfriend. You could tell the wizard was low-key jealous. The second he was hidden, Yangjai fired up his wardrobe skill again. Realization hit the priest hard. Idiots. It's a trap, he's here for us. Suddenly, Yangjai burst from the pitch black, rocking his snake-themed combat gear. The Earth guy freaked out, summoning his dirt beasts and screaming at them to attack. Yangjai just effortlessly weaved through their strikes. The priest yelled that they needed a massive swarm of those super-fast mud monsters if they wanted to stand a chance. Bro, just one of these things could easily solo an A-tier hero. The wizard bragged proudly. He swore their target wouldn't even have a second to blink. But then they looked closer. Yangjai was literally untouchable, completely unharmed. In a flash, he teleported right behind the priest, brutally impaling him with his power, before doing the exact same thing to the wizard. Coughing up blood, the priest gasped, absolutely horrified. How? I thought you only used electric-type magic? Yangjai just rolled his eyes. You absolute clowns. Whoever said electricity was my only trick? Mind completely blown? The dying wizard realized this guy possessed an ultra-rare dual elemental core. It was just too insane to believe. Desperate, the priest begged for mercy, promising that if Yangjai let him walk, he'd owe him massively forever. Yangjai wasn't having it. I save lives because it's the right thing to do, dude. Not to score favors. This is strictly about justice. Done playing games, he moved in for the final blow. Out of nowhere, the priest frantically swallowed some weird blue tablets. Leaping back to a safe distance, Yangjai asked, "Are those seriously enhancement drugs?" The priest snarled back that he'd literally left him no choice. I don't just possess healing powers, you brat. I have a secret weapon. Then, absolutely revoltingly, he pulled a massive blade straight from his throat. Completely grossed out, Yangjai noted that the nasty aura coming off it felt exactly like Blanche's epic sword. Gripping the disgusting newly drawn weapon, the priest started cackling. Bet you didn't see me hiding a whole spear in there, did you? He instantly popped his ultimate sacred spike move. Merging his skills, the crazy villain unleashed an infinite spear barrage. The entire floor exploded into massive craters, as glowing lances violently erupted from the concrete everywhere. The head priest commanded his holy arsenal to execute the guy, launching a barrage of spears straight at Yangjai. Yangjai scrambled to dodge the attack, realizing pretty quickly that these homing weapons wouldn't just give up. Suddenly, a clone from the Supreme Theft skill grabbed his ankle, bringing a huge, twisted smirk to the priest's face. Chuckling, the villain mocked him as a pathetic bug, taunting him to keep dancing since his death was absolutely guaranteed. Panting hard, our hero realized he was in serious trouble. Just one glancing blow had totally shredded his arms and legs. Glancing up, he spotted glowing vortexes and realized the entire ceiling was flooded with blinding light. This glow totally gave away the enemy's exact position. Time to test their speed. The villain smugly asked, "Who is quicker? Can literally anything beat the speed of light?" Instead of answering, Yangjai fired up his ultimate mental processing powers. Smirking, he whispered, "Light who?" Then vanished in a blur. He triggered his dark blades, demanding the bad guy yield immediately. In a crazy twist, every single weapon previously targeting our guy violently reversed course and impaled their own master. A mind attack? Does this kid have 3 separate powers? The villain gasped, though his brutal wounds were already stitching shut. Strolling over, Yangjai casually mentioned that regenerating was totally pointless since he was just going to kill him all over again. He instantly stole the defeated villain's powers once more. Snatching that supreme illumination skill, scored him an epic, a rank power, officially titled the Heart of Light. Its main perk fixes bodily damage for anyone at a rank or lower, while its boost feature massively levels up base stats. Plus, it grants full camouflage to anyone sitting at an A tier or lower. Sacred Mending cures you or an ally up to a rank tier, and Justice Spear lets you blast enemies with endless glowing javelins. The system scan popped up, noting that these epic skills are insane for blocking hits, but also dealing massive damage, making them incredibly rare. Yangjai instantly cast the healing spell on his own wrecked body. He muttered that surviving such a brutal hit almost forced him to pop a magical blue recovery item. Next up, he walked over to the Earth Mage and jacked his powers, admitting that sand control was actually kinda sick. Grabbing the high-tier skill, he saw the system register it as the Grand Earth Sorcerer trait. The stat sheet said it lets you terraform the whole battlefield with grit and spawn massive, terrifying sand beasts. System review. Honestly, you could build a whole desert safari with this. Suddenly, voices yelled that the elite heroes were on scene. The pros were completely locking down the entire perimeter. Dropping his disguise in a flash, our hero shifted back to his normal self, slipping away while letting the pros handle the mess. Pretty soon, The news crews swarmed in. Lin noticed the echoing booms from earlier meant the architecture was completely wrecked. An absolutely brutal showdown definitely went down here. Stepping inside, the camera crew spotted the villain's lifeless body. Lin gasped in absolute shock, whispering what just happened. While the internet went crazy with theories, Lin recognized the corpse as the supreme leader of the local crazy cult. Chat was wild, calling his death totally pathetic. Others wondered about the censored gore, while some hyped up the brutal justice. Karma finally caught up with him. Surprisingly, nobody in chat even questioned where the snake dude vanished to. Suddenly, a crew member screamed to check the corner, pointing straight at one of the cult's creepy henchmen. The gruesome sight hit Lin hard, forcing her to sprint away and totally throw up in an alleyway. A helpful bystander urged her to take a breather, gently passing her some water while checking if she was all right. Grabbing the drink, she looked up and gasped his name, asking why he was here. He claimed he was just roaming the neighborhood. Hearing the massive commotion from the hero squads, he figured his favorite reporter would definitely be chasing the scoop. Blushing incredibly hard, Lin whined that he always misses her star moments but magically appears whenever she looks totally pathetic. She cringed over her messy debut stream, but he just smiled, softly comforting her that she always looked gorgeous, no matter what. Mentally, he kicked himself for being so incredibly sloppy, knowing he really should have hid the bodies. Suddenly, a guy checked on Lin, but awkwardly backed off seeing the cute couple hugging. Coughing politely, the guy announced that the medics had successfully recovered the teen kidnapped by the crazy cult. They wanted to interview the rescued teen immediately. Catching the buzz, Lin told her guy to stay put, because she had to work. The interrupting dude sighed, realizing he was completely friend-zoned. Pivoting into boss mode, Lin started the interview, while her secret hero boyfriend proudly watched. He sparked his heart of light power, swearing he'd be heading back to rescue his sister, Faye, in no time. He finally had the whole set in his grip: wind, sand, fire, and water. His top-tier powers ranged from light and darkness to sand, lightning, and metal. But word was, 3 mysterious heavy hitters from the Saints organization were about to crash the party. Yangjai figured it was time to hit up Dragon over at Shiju City's main hospital. Paramedics had rushed all the kids there. A doctor barked at them to hop out, line up, and stick close. Every single one needed a checkup. Meanwhile, Yuan was still chilling in the back of the ambulance with his little sister. He was just saying he hadn't seen his teacher when Yangjai suddenly popped up. Yuan's face lit up, but Yangjai immediately shushed him. Using mind control, Yangjai slipped right into the crowd. He sidled up to Yuan and brought up his sister, but the kid cut him off, blurting out that he already knew she was gone. He just wanted to take her body back home, refusing to leave her in that awful place. Yangjai shook his head. Nah, bringing her was the right move, he whispered. Looks like she's actually still breathing, just barely hanging on. Yuan practically jumped out of his skin. Are you serious? He gasped. Yangjai immediately unleashed his new holy healing, and the girl's eyes fluttered open. Yangjai warned the boy to rest up too, promising to bust them out of there a bit later. Seeing his sister bounce back that fast had Yuan bawling his eyes out. I got it, he choked out to his mentor. Yangjai gently corrected him to just say teacher, and tossed him some syndicate cash. He pointed out that the little girl deserved a totally normal childhood, but Yangjai had one last favor to ask the kid. He needed Yuan to get noticed by the big shots over at Yangjing University. The kid started stressing about needing crazy powers for that, but Yangjai waved off his panic. Just grab this imitation orb, he instructed, and fuse it with those mantis skills you already have. That combo alone would be a golden ticket into Yangjing University. With that, Yangjai handed over a C- tier power called Imitation. The specs read, enhances the 5 senses to mimic boosted strength and agility, capping at 10 times the user's base potential. The system note added, a 3-fold buff is plenty. Yuan swore he'd make his teacher proud and totally crush it. Yangjai told the kid to stay out of trouble and play it cool. He'd be the one reaching out from now on. Slipping out of the rig, Yangjai quickly swapped his outfit, only to hear Lin Naisu shouting his name. He was genuinely shocked to bump into her. Wait, seriously? He asked, as she jogged over, demanding to know where he'd vanished to. I've been searching everywhere for you, she complained. Stalling, Yangjai claimed he was just pitching in with the sick kids. He quickly flipped the script, asking what was going on with her. Oh, no big deal. She brushed off, breathing a massive sigh of relief. She mentioned the rescue was a success, and the Heroes Association was dialing up families. But what about the orphans? Yangjai pressed. She explained they'd be set up in a local shelter. Yangjai just smiled, saying, an orphanage was basically its own giant family. He honestly just wanted those kids to have a solid, healthy future. Out of nowhere, Lin Naisu leaned in and planted a kiss on him. Pulling back, she teased him about busting his chops nonstop for 2 days, then threw up a peace sign. Catch you later. She yelled back that she was super swamped but promised they'd link up in Luhansk in a couple of days. Totally flustered, Yangjai cursed his luck for missing his shot yet again. With the sun already setting, he booked it straight to the Chashu airport. Touching down late that night, he snuck into his sister's room, pulling out his fresh skill and praying the holy healing would actually do the trick. He blasted her with the healing energy, but got absolutely zero response. Not even a flinch. Panic started creeping in. He practically shook her, calling her name over and over, but she stayed totally out cold. Are you kidding me? A total dud? How? He muttered, before spotting something weird on her cheek. Wait, what the heck is this? He brushed a finger against these glowing blue specks. They're duplicating the second I touch them, and multiplying their power. Are these things seriously eating my energy? It hit him, the heart of light was completely useless against this freaky blue radiation. But no way was he letting this parasite drain her anymore if he didn't squash this now. Fei Fei was never waking up. No more playing it safe. It was time to go all in. To actually cure her, he'd have to track down the absolute psycho who slipped that sour spicy hero the glowing blue pill in the first place. He whipped out 3 of his wildest skills: transformation, cloning, and metal control. Holding them glowing in his palms, he realized the first step was leveling up his own brute strength. He instantly spent the points to max out those 3 powers, fusing them into a brand new, top-tier skill dubbed transformation. The stats were insane. It granted lightning, fast threat detection in 0.01 seconds. Plus, it let him completely rewrite his body, face, voice, and even his entire vibe, basically turning him into an Oscar-level actor. System check complete. Think of life as a total stage play, driven by your inner vibe. Plus, he just unlocked a super sick new skill: cloning. The skill rundown? You can spawn a copycat, but it packs exactly 1/8 of your actual punch. It vanishes after 30 minutes flat. The verdict? Anyone gutsy enough to use this could level up their battle IQ big time. Right after, Yangjai decided to mash a pair of these skills together. With his stacked skill set, he knew hitting S tier was totally in the bag. Dropping down exhausted, he actually pulled it off. He scored an S tier power. Metal manipulation. The stats? It lets you bend alloys within 10,000 kilometers. The catch is a weight limit capping at 100,000 tons. System rating? You basically become a total magnetism god. Grasping his new power, Yangjai hyped himself up over this insane S-class drop. He couldn't wait to confront his target anymore. Later that evening, he mind hijacked the pro hero known as Sour Spicy Noodles. A super shady guy hiding his identity rolled up to the meetup spot. The stranger dropped a classic long time no see and immediately demanded the latest scoop. Piloting the hero's meat suit, Yangjai smirked. Obviously. Aren't you dying to hear the dirt on Yangjai? I've got the tea, but do you even have the cash to afford it? The shady dude literally laughed out loud. He basically promised double the payout as long as the intel was legit. Yangjai spilled that the Saints faction got absolutely wrecked in Sheizo City recently. You saw the news, yeah? The guy nodded. Duh. Obviously. Yangjai kept pushing, bringing up that sword-wielding girl Blanche from the Hero Guild. But get this, her official debrief dropped some massively juicy details. Turns out, a random rogue named Snake totally carried her. The contact rolled his eyes. Yeah. Old news. Both Yangjai and Snake run with the Judge crew. Literally everyone knows that. But Yangjai kept pressing, asking if he realized both dudes were rocking dual superpowers. The guy was shook. Wait. 2? He guessed their squad only recruited dual wielders. Yangjai shot that down. Nah. Mutants like that are practically unicorns. Almost impossible. Super confused, the man finally snapped. Where are you going with this? Yangjai flashed a sketchy vial full of liquid and asked if it looked familiar. Wait, an awakening potion? The guy gasped. As the dude tried to grab the mysterious power-up drink, Yangjai quickly snatched it away. Exactly. He grinned. Down this, and you literally unlock a brand new superpower on the spot. Normies become supers, and already awakened guys get wildly buffed. The stranger totally cringed, calling cap on the whole thing. That's absolute garbage. Prove it. Popping the cork, Yangjai reminded him his current host only had physical enhancement. Watch closely. He chugged the whole vial right there and instantly sparked up a massive flaming punch. The shady guy lost his mind. Bro, did you just use pyrokinesis? Yangjai claimed he bagged this insane intel after making a super sketchy trade earlier. Those blue meds you hooked me up with helped me confirm this stuff is real. The guy was completely hyped. Then you gotta know the recipe, right? Yangjai played dumb about the ingredients, but leaked literally everything else. Loving the gossip, the contact tossed him 15 more blue capsules. Yangjai caught them, demanding one last answer. Annoyed, the guy told him to spit it out. Yangjai revealed that weird cyan bruises were suddenly popping up on his skin. Are your meds doing this? What the heck is going on with my body? Already walking away, the stranger brushed it off. Just a minor glitch. Don't sweat it. Catch you later, noodle boy. The guy vanished, leaving Yangjai to drop the disguise and return to normal. They literally brush off a symptom that drains your life force as nothing. What kind of messed up scheme is this? Right after, Ian Heath headed for the door. Then he suddenly caught the sound of the hero's little kid shouting out. The original hero was still knocked out cold. Yangjai tossed the meds next to him, whispering that if he loved his kid, he'd quit the drugs. Your call, though. With that mic drop, Yangjai totally dipped. Peeking out from the hallway, the little girl finally spotted her dad. She wondered why he was napping on the literal roof. Groggily waking up, he instantly started apologizing to his kid, Tenten, claiming he just dozed off by mistake. He got totally busted. Tenten marched over, calling him out for ditching her birthday plans. Then her eyes locked onto the glowing capsules. Dad, what are those? Her dad snatched the stuff right back, scolding her that they totally were not toys. He obviously just showed up to score some meds from that dude. So why was his memory completely wiped right after their shady exchange? The whole thing felt super sketchy. Standing up, he promised his little girl some cake once they got back. Tintin practically lit up at the idea. Over at Lewin's place, the sun had already set. He grumbled something to himself while dragging his feet toward bed. He was losing his mind over being treated like absolute garbage, seriously wondering if he would ever bust out of this dump. Catching a glow from his dad's office, he paused. It was crazy late for the old guy to still be working. Poking his head inside to tell him to catch some sleep, he suddenly noticed the entire room was empty. Snooping around a bit, his eyes landed on this super weird stack of documents piled on the desk. Snagging the files, Lewin whispered, "What kind of top secret stuff keeps a boomer grinding at midnight?" Skimming through, he spotted a crazy tactical setup declaring that Lugansk City was completely out of Batishan. The intel totally blew Lai Yuan's mind. He muttered, "What even is the blank zone? Is that actually around here?" There was no way he was missing out on this surprise. This was literally his ultimate shot at turning pro hero. Heading into the office the following morning, some guy yelled out, asking Yangjai if he straight up forgot he had a career. They demanded to know where he had vanished to. That instantly reminded Yangjai of Lu Yuan questioning his loyalty to Fant yesterday. Deep down, Yangjai knew he had to cover for the guy since they were basically bros. So, he casually dropped a story about some lady rolling into the press office needing a lost person flyer printed. He whipped out a poster searching for a missing 7-year-old kid, going by the name Lai Yan. It turned out to be Xiaong Tung, desperately trying to track down any clues about the boy. Yangjai warned him to totally dodge the drama and stay focused. But suddenly a massive broadcast went live. Threat level rank of beasts were swarming. Civilians were ordered into lockdown, while elite fighters needed to defend Mingyu Street immediately. The entire crowd absolutely lost their minds, freaking out and scrambling everywhere. Fant was super confused, but Yangjai froze. Mingyu Street was literally right next door to his shared flat with Lin Nao. He frantically punched in Lin Nao's number, demanding to know her exact location. She was crying that a freakish beast had broken into their place, prompting Fan Tong to panic about Sister Lin's safety. Ignoring the dude completely, Yangjai sprinted off to rescue his friend, leaving the Phantom yelling at him to come back. He screamed that civilians had zero business playing hero, but our guy was already scaling the block and hitting the rooftops, triggering his morphing powers to save his bestie. He suddenly came face to face with a massive rank of terror. They called it the soul-devouring rodent. It shrieked to blast targets and was covered in absolute armor plating. Defending against its heavy strikes was brutal. Plus, it had a sick craving for human flesh. Total nightmare fuel. On top of being tanks, those pests were ridiculously smart and insanely hard to kill. Taking down this beast normally required a full squad of elite fighters. Luckily, 2 badass rank of girls dropped in, including the legendary Green Storm. Backing her up was another top-tier icon, the fabulous Fire Butterfly. The second the duo hit the scene, that mutated rat locked onto their energy and lunged right at them. Screaming at her partner to dive out of the way, Green Storm barely managed to yank her to safety. She snapped at her teammate for even showing up, warning that even elite fighters were basically fresh meat against this thing. But Fire Butterfly just shrugged, saying she was chilling in the area and couldn't let her friend solo a boss monster. Suddenly, desperate screaming broke out behind them. Two terrified teenage girls were clinging to each other for dear life. It was Lin Naisu gripping her buddy Huen, who was absolutely bawling about not wanting to be eaten. Desperate to survive, she kept sobbing while Lin now frantically swore she would get them out of this mess. The poor girl was totally melting down, begging her friend to do something before they became rat food. Out of nowhere, a massive chunk of debris crushed Lin Naisu's grip. Bloodied and terrified, the pair completely gave up hope. Suddenly, Fire Butterfly swooped in and snatched Huen midair. Trembling in the hero's arms, she whispered, asking if the nightmare was over. Throwing a confident wink, the flaming hero promised that nobody was dying on her watch, bragging that the top-tier rescue squad had arrived. Meanwhile, the entire insane save was streaming raw across every news network. Everyone watching from home went totally crazy, spamming the chat about how ridiculously epic the whole showdown looked. The chat was totally spamming how they wished that gorgeous Fire Butterfly would rescue them too. The streamer was just like, "Hold up, guys. Wait, where did those two go?" she asked. Lin Naisu was literally still dropping out of the sky when a super speedy blur zoomed past. The stream chat went wild. "Yo, what was that? Did you guys see that flash? It was seriously gone in a split second. What is going on? Did she seriously just fall?" The streamer hyped up the viewers, screaming that something absolutely massive had just sliced through the sky. Nobody knew what it was, but it completely saved her. Suddenly, Greenstorm was screaming at the news crew to get out of there fast. I mean, this Class A beast had locked straight onto them and was totally ready to strike. But Greenstorm totally clutched up. He dropped this insanely bright explosion to rescue an entire chopper packed with news anchors. Fast forward, it was totally Yangjai who swooped in for Lin now. He whisked her away to the park, setting her softly on a bench. He kept apologizing, feeling super guilty for cutting it so close. Then, he flexed his healing powers to patch up all her scratches. Wrapping his cape around her shoulders, he promised she was completely safe. He swore absolutely nothing else was going to lay a finger on her. He was totally about to dip when Lin now finally blinked awake, whispering, "Am I actually alive?" Seeing her savior, she immediately grabbed his arm to stop him. "Why are you playing this whole villain or hero game?" She pressed him. "Did you catch me?" He played it off like he was just walking by, secretly feeling awful because blowing his cover would seriously put a massive target on her back. "Hop on your hoverboard," he suggested, telling her to chill and head straight for the bunker since she really had to evacuate that hot zone. And just like that, he took off. Watching him disappear, Lin Naisu felt super weirded out. It was their first time meeting, but his vibes felt insanely familiar to her. Mid-flight, Yangjai activated a totally different skill, making clones. He basically coded the copy to use the Light Heart and the Snow Queen's epic ice powers. That combo meant it could freeze stuff and heal people perfectly. Plus, keeping the clone looking like a teenage girl was definitely the smart play. Using his shapeshifting, he turned the duplicate into a mysterious masked girl. Welcome the third member of the judge squad. He hyped her up, dubbing her Rabbit Mao. He immediately sent Rabbit Mao on a mission to rescue anyone caught in the crossfire. Her main goal was to keep the casualty and injury stats from spiking. On it, Rabbit Mao agreed. Once she bounced, Yangjai glared at the massive beast, mumbling under his breath that it was time to finally trash this giant rat. Suddenly, a silhouette on a rooftop caught his eye. Wait, who even is that? He wondered. It was none other than the epic hero, Explosive Fist. She was complaining about how totally annoying it was to fight a freak like this while she was supposed to be on break. "Lugansk's safety is completely on the line right now," she dramatically announced. The anchor gasped. "Is that seriously the legendary class, a hero we haven't seen in Lugansk for years?" The live chat instantly blew up. A fan typed, "Oh my god, she looks so young again." While another user posted, "Wait, didn't her hair used to be way blonder?" Others were obsessing over her crazy tan, while newbies were totally lost. "Can someone please drop the lore on who that chick is?" a commenter begged. Veterans quickly filled him in, hyping her up as the iconic brawler known as Fiery Fist. When Fiery Fist threw a peace sign to the cameras, the stream went feral. A girl rocking a pure brawler style? They hyped. "That's literally so rare." She then smirked and shouted to the crowd, asking if her real fans were still around. Yangjai spotted her flexing and figured, hey, if these pros want to carry the entire raid and handle the mess, let them. He planned to just chill back, silently tier list their power levels, and figure out his next move from the sidelines. Staring down the beast, Fiery Fist grinned. "Look at the size of this rat. It looks kinda tough, honestly. The perfect heavy bag for a warm-up." Triggered by that, the beast lunged straight for her. Greenstorm immediately panicked and yelled, Watch your back. That sonic attack is way too busted, he warned. She just scoffed. Bro, how am I supposed to know my limits if I don't test them? Boom. She literally deflected the beast's strike like it was nothing. The news anchor was screaming about how insane that block was. Most brawlers would probably just tank the Soul Eater rat's hit, but she totally rushed it head on. Exactly like you'd expect from her reckless vibes. The nasty creature was literally throwing a victory party in its head, fully convinced it just one-shot the hero. Yeah. Nope. She locked in, delivered the most devastating punch ever, and completely floored the beast. Touching down gracefully, she snagged that giant rat by the tail and literally started swinging it around like a lasso. Oh my gosh, this is so fun. Literally hilarious, she giggled. Once she got enough momentum, she absolutely yeeted the dizzy creature. Watching from afar, Green Storm was stunned. For such an unhinged girl, her raw damage output totally rivals a mutant. Off in the background, Rabbit Mao was already stealthily scouting for any casualties. Following Yangjai's lead, she spotted a dude about to get flattened by a giant boulder and instantly snatched him to safety. Still dazed, he kept thanking Rabbit Mao. He wanted to know which hero squad she rolled with, since he had never crossed paths with her. Dropping him safely, she introduced herself as Rabbit Mao, proudly repping the judges' syndicate. The crowd started buzzing. One dude whispered, "Who is that? She is totally gorgeous," while his buddy chimed in, "And super young, too." A third guy totally freaked out. Another absolute goddess from the judges. That group is stacked with legends. Right then, Rabbit Mao spotted Lin Nesu's buddy hanging with the Fire Butterfly crew. Catching sight of them, she checked if Fire Butterfly was with Lin Nesu before rushing over to help out. The girl nearby explained they took a nasty fall and were super banged up, begging Rabbit Mao for some healing magic. Without missing a beat, Rabbit Mao jumped straight into healing them, leaving the onlookers completely amazed. Someone gasped, "Wait, their injuries are literally vanishing. What kind of crazy power is that? It is unreal." She is sweet, stunning, and insanely overpowered at healing. Meanwhile, Rabbit Mao warned, "Get to the bunker right now, before things get worse." Suddenly, a beast crashed the scene, letting out a horrific screech that literally made everyone's eardrums bleed. The girl groaned. The pitch just shifted. "I swear my head is literally about to burst into pieces." Fiery Fist yelled, "What the heck is that thing? Some raging mutant?" Yangjai muttered, "Yeah, we are in deep trouble. That freak feeds on the spirits of anyone close by." And just like that, the creature started sucking up life forces. Green Storm panicked. "What is happening?" Fiery Fist shot back. "It drains life energy from corpses to regenerate its own health." The reporter on the live feed frantically questioned whether the beast had fully recovered yet. Can our top-tier brawler actually take down this giant soul-sucking rat now that they are locked in a showdown? Seriously, where did the rest of the rebel squad vanish to? Knowing the stakes, Fiery Fist ordered Green Storm to retreat. Sensing this beast was about to go full psycho, Fiery Fist launched herself right back into the fight without waiting. She charged in, screaming for the oversized rodent to rot in the underworld as she threw a strike. Landing her blow, she let out a breath, smirking. That definitely did the trick, right? Spoiler alert, it completely failed. The creature played dirty, dodging her fist and whipping its tail right through her back in a brutal sneak attack. Coughing up blood, Fiery Fist choked out, "Cheap shot. You are absolutely vile." The beast then launched her across the zone. The live chat blew up with terrified viewers crying that Lugansk was doomed. Commenters were freaking out, asking if Fiery Fist was done for, and begging for a savior to rescue everyone. Despite agonizing pain racking her body, our fiery girl absolutely refused to throw in the towel. She swore she was not checking out today, because she had to wipe this freak off the map. Then Green Storm dashed in. Stunned to see her, Fiery Fist snapped, "What are you even doing? Do you actually have a death wish?" Green Storm clapped back, "My job is saving lives. There is no way I am turning tail and ditching you." The reporter watching the chaos was totally blown away, calling her an absolute legend for stepping up to shield Lugansk. The beast closed in, but at the final second, Yangjai clutched it up by hurling a metal spike that pinned its tail. The news anchor completely lost it, hyping up the livestream to max energy, screaming into the mic, "Oh my gosh." Right when all hope was lost, Class A prodigy Yangjai enters the chat. But hold on, who is that stunning girl beside him? Instantly, the comment section caught fire. Fans flooded the chat, praising Yangjai as their ultimate savior, demanding to know, who is the gorgeous masked chick tagging along? The internet was thirsting for her lore. One viewer typed, "Peep the mask, guys. She has to be rolling with the judges." Confused, Fiery Fist mumbled, "What is their game plan?" Greenstorm shrugged. No clue, but they are keeping us alive. Hovering above, Yangjai started summoning an insane barrage of metallic javelins. He rained them down, shredding the beast's armor. Fiery Fist realized, okay, so this mutant rat regenerates by leeching human auras. Taking it down will be brutal, but we have to cancel its healing hack. Greenstorm asked, cancel what exactly? Why not just glue its jaw shut? Fiery Fist smacked her upside the head, groaning. Is that seriously your best idea? Back in the clash, Yangjai used his powers to levitate the massive creature straight up, refusing to go down quietly. The freak spammed sonic blasts, but Yangjai effortlessly tanked every single hit with his shields. Yangjai glanced at Rabbit Mao, barking in order to keep the creature's jaw clamped. Smirking behind her mask, she replied, consider it done. Dropping her ice move, she had the whole crowd staring up in absolute shock, screaming, no way. She actually froze that beast. That thing is massive. How is she even doing that? Her tier must be insanely high. Firefist was like, wait, is it regenerating? But Yangjai just yanked the monster into the clouds, warning it to back off everyone's energy. Being up that high, it couldn't reach any bodies to drain their souls. Then, Yangjai completely shredded the beast using his metal storm technique. Right after, he totally snatched its power. It was an A- tier skill literally called Soul Eater. Skill check. It sucks up the spirits of the dead to completely heal the user's health. The catch? It seriously messes with your head. Skill rating coming up. Whoever wields this needs to stay insanely careful. Bagging the skill, Yangjai noted, unlike Heart of Light, this thing strictly runs on dead people's vibes to heal, but it still gives off similar healing energy to yours. Meanwhile, news choppers circled above, broadcasting for everyone to just chill. The anchors promised to clear the sky to catch Yangjai live on camera. Once the fog cleared up, the dude was literally floating right beside their chopper. The reporter waved frantically, begging for an interview while the live chat went totally crazy. One viewer freaked out, noting that the monster just vanished after Yangjai dragged it upward. Another asked if he totally dusted it midair, hyping up true A-tier hero energy. Someone else pointed out how multiple pros got wrecked by the beast, yet he deleted it in minutes. Firefist admitted Yangjai was way stronger than that rat creature, guessing he was S-tier. Suddenly, Mao Rabbit dropped in behind them. The two heroes spun around, and Firefist immediately demanded to know her deal. Mao Rabbit unleashed her energy toward them, prompting Greenstorm to jump in front of his bro. He fully braced for the end, but the vibe shifted. Stunned, he asked his friend, dude, are you regenerating? Mind blown, Firefist asked, wait, is this a super rare recovery buff? Who even are you? She dropped her name, claiming she repped the judge's syndicate, just as a chopper buzzed by. The newscaster leaked that Yangjai's new sidekick was also rolling with the judge's crew. They hyped up her crazy support skills as she patched up the local heroes. The chat was hardcore simping for this duo. Firefist looked at her, realizing, so this judge's group is a brand new agency, never even caught wind of it before today. But honestly, thanks to your backup, we fully stopped a disaster. She bounced the compliment back, before grouping up with Yangjai to dip. The news anchor, hyping up the viewers, declared that the Supers had once again saved Lugansk from total monster chaos. The MVP title officially went to the ultimate carry, the Judges Syndicate. The broadcast sent massive love and thanks their way. Meanwhile, Greenstorm was totally crushing, whispering, she is absolutely stunning. Firefist was kinda salty though, muttering, they totally just stole our spotlight. Later, Yangjai brought up a meetup his godson requested, wondering what kind of tea the kid had for him now. Mao Rabbit suddenly announced her timer was up. Wait, the clone is expiring already? He asked. Her powers synced right back to him, which was super clutch for outsourcing future missions. But he also downloaded her memories, and catching all those creepy stares, she got absolutely grossed him out. No way was he ever dropping female clones again. Plus, figuring out their outfits was just way too weird. This is literally so annoying and dumb, he raged internally. Lu Yun was chilling there, waiting super eagerly, daydreaming about some cute girl's smile. Spying on him, Yangjai cringed at how goofy the kid looked. Is looking normal really that hard? He sighed. Scanning the woods, he realized the kid had a literal stalker. Touching down, he smoothly asked, got any updates? Lu Yun lit up, whining, no hug for your favorite godson? Right then, the brush nearby started shaking. Startled, the kid spun around. Yo, what was that? Who's hiding over there? Yangjai fake coughed to cut him off. Just hand over the files first so I can verify the intel. Lu Yun slid the papers over to his godfather, who immediately started scanning through them. Yangjai muttered. Looks like the Heroes Association actually set up that bang base in Lugansk. Honestly didn't think they'd pull it off this fast. Word on the street is, there's crazy gear out there that can seriously buff up your power levels. Lu Yun chimed in. We need to grab that loot as soon as possible. Yangjai nodded, admitting the intel was total gold. He'd finally racked up enough points to unlock a C-rank power. Pulling a vial from his jacket, he tossed it to Lu Yun, who eagerly snatched it out of the air and chugged the whole thing. He quickly threw a thanks, God pops his way, but seconds later, he gagged. Dude, this tastes like expired banana powder mixed with bitter dark chocolate. Yangjai just patted his back, chuckling. No pain, no gain, kid. Right after, Lu Yun morphed straight back into his wolfman form. Boom. Official C-rank status achieved. The skill was literally just called werewolf. Stats read like this. Grants pureblood lycanthrope stats. Full moons trigger a wild, forced shift, but totally multiply your base strength by 2. System rating? Basically a runaway husky. Lu Yun was super hyped about the upgrade. Man, I can literally feel the raw energy surging. Keep this up, and hitting veteran S rank is practically guaranteed. Yangjai smirked. Honestly, that's the ultimate dream. Right? Then Yangjai muttered something about the mechanic. Lu Yun cut him off. Wait, Godfather, what was that? I mean, his dad was supposedly out partying and living it up with a bunch of gorgeous girls, way too busy to care. But out of nowhere, the cyborg dad stepped straight out of the tree line. Yup, he grunted. Before we chat, I'm shredding this punk to pieces. Night had fallen, and Lu Yun, pinned against a wall, panicked. Are you dead serious? He whined to his dad, begging for at least a little bit of mercy, but the cyborg just called him a cocky brat. Seriously? Aren't you gonna cry to your precious godfather? I spill a few secrets, and you're ready to murder me. Yangjai stepped in, admitting he never expected the guy to hunt Lu Yun down himself. Look, we had a bargain. Your youngest was desperate for powers. Don't be too hard on the kid. Lu Yun pleaded that he'd already taken enough of a beating. I swear I'll keep the family drama quiet. And you can totally chill about me and the godfather. His dad just roared at him to zip it and stay backed against the bricks. Glaring at Yangjai, the man growled about his brat being born totally powerless, yet somehow getting gifted powers now. Yangjai mentally smirked. Powerless? Yeah, right. Clearly, the old man was clueless. The kid wasn't just some A-rank freak. He was literally a reincarnator. My ultimate trump card. Aloud, Yangjai shrugged it off. No big deal. Handing out 1, 2, or even 3 skills is honestly child's play. Lu Yun's jaw dropped. Wait, seriously? You can hook me up with more powers? The cyborg challenged Yangjai, demanding to know if literally anyone could hit A-rank status like him. Yangjai figured, a greedy dude who can't handle his current loadout obviously wants more. Totally classic behavior. Really, power-hungry guys always cross lines to level up. Sure, he smiled, but locking in an A-rank skill costs a massive premium. The mechanic demanded the full breakdown. Instead, Yangjai flicked a small blue tablet at him. Recognize this? He inspected the tiny blue capsule and shook his head, totally clueless. Yangjai laughed. Crazy how out of the loop you are. Half your own crew is already popping these things. Swallow just 1, and your overall stats instantly triple. His dad immediately demanded to know if Yangjai worked for the lab making them. Nope, I'm foreign, Yangjai replied. Just teamed up with your boy here to dig up dirt on that exact syndicate. The cyborg snapped his focus to Lu Yun. Breathe, kid. Tell me every single thing you know. Lu Yun spilled the tea. That Bingguan dude, Lai Kongyang, he abused these meds to wipe out innocent rookies under the radar. Swear, I saw the whole thing. The old man was stunned, questioning how such a tiny drop could pack that much heat. He couldn't wrap his head around how Bing Chuan orchestrated all those fake accidents. I finally pieced it together. So now, I need you to completely expose their whole operation. Yangjai added, I need your clearance for the White Realm project. Back me up, and I'll drop an A-rank pill that doubles your base stats. The mechanic stared hard at him. Are you absolutely sure you want to dive into the White Area initiative? Look, I will pretend I did not hear that, but the White Zone is an absolute death trap. Nobody makes it out alive. Yangjai just brushed it off, explaining he only needed the ring to farm power traits. Power traits? The cyborg asked, totally confused. Yangjai broke it down. They are the absolute core materials for brewing those superpower potions. Outlaws rip them from gear, beast corpses, or rare loot. And that White Zone is packed with creatures ready for farming. The cyborg challenged him, demanding proof that this magic juice actually worked. Yangjai just smirked, pointing out that he was living proof. If the metal guy did not trust the arbiters and wanted to walk away, that was totally his call. Lu Yun suddenly spun around, interrupting his dad. "Drop it, old man. I do not need you ruining my career anyway." The cyborg lost his patience and smacked the kid's head. "We are family, idiot," he yelled. "If I am eating steak, you are not getting just the broth." He then turned to Yangjai, glad they were teaming up. Yangjai was tasked with handling that Bing Chuan guy. He mentioned midair that teaming up was super smart, practically buzzing about crushing it together and hanging out again. It was super late by the time Lin Naisu finally got back. With her apartment literally wrecked, crashing at the clinic was unavoidable. But spotting Yangjai in her room, total shocker. "What are you doing here?" she blurted out. Yangjai stepped closer, admitting he had been hunting for her for hours. Word on the street was all the bunker casualties got dumped here. He checked if she was okay. She brushed off a tiny scratch, but dropped the bomb. Her place was dust, and she was technically homeless. Yangjai did not even blink. "No big deal, just crash at my place." Naisu freaked out a bit. "Wait, move in together? Isn't that rushing things way too fast?" Now Yangjai was blushing hard, frantically backtracking. "Whoa, I definitely did not mean it like that." Pouting, she bolted to the window. "Whatever, drop it. I am definitely not rooming with you right now." He tried to explain, but she totally ignored him, staring outside and randomly obsessing over her lost chicken. "Wait, what chicken?" he asked, completely baffled. She spun around, grinning like crazy. "Dude, I literally almost died today. This mysterious Yoji guy totally saved my life. He is absolutely gorgeous. I seriously need to interview him and hype up his heroism to the whole world." Having heard enough, Yangjai snapped, scooping her right off her feet. "Hey, what gives?" she shrieked before he tossed her onto the mattress. Totally bewildered, Naisu demanded to know what his deal was. Giving him a wild look, she hissed, "We cannot do this here." But Yangjai just flopped down right beside her. Pulling the covers up, he wrapped an arm around her. "Just sleep," he mumbled, promising to handle her moving drama tomorrow. They were officially roommates. Naisu agreed, secretly wondering to herself, "Wait, is he seriously just going to sleep?" Next morning, Yangjai was already on his flight, calling her up to check if she had found the skillet in his cabinets. Naisu complained she had ransacked the whole place and there was not even a single crumb of food. "Seriously, how are you this messy?" she whined. Stowing his bags, Yangjai laughed it off. "Yep, that is me." He reminded her to just use the credit card he gave her yesterday to buy whatever she wanted. "Fine," Naisu agreed, promising to hold down the fort until his work trip was over. She hinted at a sweet surprise, signing off with a cute little meow. Settling down, Yangjai actually meowed back, promising to ring her right after landing before hanging up. The guy beside him cringed, muttering about annoying teenagers. Once airborne, Yangjai glanced around and instantly spotted Tien Dodo. He was heading to Shaju to ink a massive contract with the FAI Trade Guild. Bumping into her here was wild. Still, rocking his casual streetwear, she definitely would not clock his real identity. Dudes across the aisle were already staring, hyped to share a cabin with two absolute knockouts. Dodo's seatmate flagged down a flight attendant for a napkin, getting a quick "on it" right away. Catching his stare, Dodo snapped, "Take a picture. It lasts longer." "Never seen a hot girl before?" She straight up labeled him a creepy stalker. Yangjai chuckled internally, imagining her reaction if she realized he was her idol. As Yuji, there's zero chance she'd have flipped out and screamed across the entire cabin. Nearby, the flight attendant dropped the towel she was handing a girl and suddenly screamed in pure panic. Yangjai snapped his head up. The flight was being taken over. A guy shoved a blaster at the crew member, yelling, "Hands on your heads, right now." The rest of the row crew started barking the exact same orders at the terrified passengers. He scoped their gear, realizing those blasters were literally crafted from mutated monster parts. Catching his stare, the dude snapped. "The heck are you staring at?" He barked at him to lock his hands up. Yangjai calculated. Anyone rocking that gear has gotta be ranked. Who even pulls a midair heist in broad daylight? Still, blowing his cover as Yuji here was definitely off the table. He had to brainstorm, fast. Up front, the rogue demanded the flight attendant pop the cockpit door instantly. Shaking, she agreed to unlock it, begging him to just let her walk away unharmed. Stepping inside, the guy signaled his partner to stick to the script. The attendant trembled. "Are we seriously flying manually? Where are we heading?" The dude aiming the blaster smirked. "Straight for Shaju's highest peak, the Zubai Tower. We're taking those Class 2 employees down with us." Bang. The passenger beside Yangjai sighed that if this was his final ride, Seeing a cute girl made it okay. Is this boomer seriously simping at the end? Yangjai cringed, then whispered, "Who even are these rogues?" Dodo whispered back that they grabbed the flight to smash into the White Tower. They totally despise District 2. They've probably been going rogue since the District 35 disaster. What actually went down in District 35? He pressed. She looked stunned. He was completely out of the loop. Yangjai explained how back when Azeristar first launched, District 2 forces completely steamrolled the chill District 50. Stepping up for 50, District 35 pressed the feds to make District 2 issue a public apology and pay up for the chaos. But District 2's toxic boss just completely blew off the demands. Total savage and super arrogant energy from them. Still, using extreme rogue tactics fixes absolutely nothing today. Dodo nodded. Exactly, regular folks just end up paying the price. One of the bad guys caught them whispering. He stomped over to her, growling, "What's the chatter about?" She backpedaled hard, swearing it was nothing, and promising to keep her mouth shut entirely. He wasn't buying it. Snatching her arm, he sneered. "Yeah, there won't be a next time, 'cause I'm ending it right here." Dragging her straight to the exit, he popped the hatch and threatened to toss her into the sky right then. Freaking out, she pleaded with him to pull her back inside. Screaming for help, she sobbed, "Please don't." Yangjai finally snapped, jumping up to trash talk the rogue out loud. Suddenly, two pro heroes crashed the scene. One snatched her to safety, promising she was totally fine now. The A-rank hero Starcloak stepped up, smirking. "Sorry about that." Got held up. Her rescuer turned out to be another, a rank legend known as Captain Cigar. The whole cabin hyped up seeing them, cheering for the absolute, a rank icons. Captain Cigar and Starcloak were saved. Yangjai exhaled, figuring these pros definitely had the situation handled now. Starcloak faced the baddies down. Yangjai noticed the hero's cape had serious spiritual energy, like it was literally alive. That guy packed some crazy stats, he realized. A rogue scoffed. The real deal showed up? Cute. Flexing on them, Starcloak mocked. "You're the last one standing. Want to drop the toys and walk away?" The rogue absolutely lost it. "District 2 trash are all backstabbing snakes," he roared. "Think we're done here?" He grinned, triggering a gross organic blast skill. Starcloak's jaw practically hit the floor. "Oh, we are cooked," he panicked. Captain Cigar's smoke literally fell right out of his mouth. Once the skill popped, the whole jet nosedived. Passengers lost their minds while Captain Cigar roared to grab the masks. He spun to Starcloak, demanding a clutch move. Like, "Can your tears magically carry a whole freaking jet?" Starcloak got instantly defensive. "Dude, do I look like an S-rank legend to you?" He snapped. "These guys are just normies. I can maybe levitate a handful of them tops, but that is literally it." The crowd caught wind of this and started begging for a rescue. Someone screamed out, "Take me along. Name your price." Yangjai was like, "Seriously, are they dropping cash midair? What an absolute joke." The whole cabin turned into a screaming match over who Starcloak should rescue. Captain Cigar warned Dodo to head straight back to her chair and buckle up tight. Brushing it off, Tioto thought the captain was super sweet. She dashed over to her terrified bestie, totally reassuring her that everything was under control. "I am right here now," she whispered. Suddenly, Starcloak hatched a crazy plan and motioned for Captain Cigar to tag along. The captain shot him a confused look, asking what his game plan was. Leaving these folks behind isn't an option. Starcloak just demanded blind faith, warning that time was running out incredibly fast. The duo scrambled right onto the jet's roof. Right then, it hit Yangjai like a ton of bricks. He could totally spawn his copies out there too, honestly. Packing just 10% of his main energy. A duplicate like that could easily clutch this disaster and rescue everyone. Wasting zero time, Yangjai sparked his shadow duplicate skill, popping a fresh copy right into the open sky. Starcloak barked at Captain Cigar to trigger his powers and whip up a massive parachute to hit the brakes on their nosedive. The captain literally facepalmed, wondering how he missed that obvious move. He totally gave Starcloak props for being the ultimate brainiac. So Captain Cigar unleashed his trademark smoke powers. Blowing out a huge cloud, he stumbled back, groaning that his energy bar was practically hitting zero. Plot twist. Starcloak was scheming something super shady, creeping up right behind Captain Cigar. He whispered a sarcastic thanks for putting in all that crazy effort. He smirked, adding that playing the nice guy is seriously exhausting. Giving him a weird look, Captain Cigar declared it was just his hero obligation. Suddenly, Yangjai's double rolled up, noticing their freefall was actually chilling out. He totally questioned if those two elite guys managed to pull off this insane save. Right then, Starcloak shaped his cape into a sharp blade and completely wrecked Captain Cigar, whispering, "I am absolutely done repeating that garbage." Yangjai totally freaked out, shouting, "What on earth is happening right now?" Starcloak hissed that he was miles ahead in skill. Yet, whenever they teamed up, Captain Cigar hogged the entire spotlight, making him look like an absolute nobody. Thanks to that nonsense, big money sponsors straight up ghosted his management team. Barely hanging on, Captain Cigar tried to speak, but the intense damage totally shut him down. Turning away, Starcloak smirked. "Since you are such a legend, go meet your maker for these innocent bystanders. I will just feed the media a tragic story about you bravely checking out while rescuing folks." Dropping that bomb, Starcloak completely vanished. Yangjai's copy rushed over to help the fallen hero, begging him to stay strong, because his powers could totally patch up that awful damage. Blasting a healing light ray did absolutely nothing. Captain Cigar gasped that the soul-piercing blade made his ultimate game over totally unfixable. Utterly stunned, Yangjai just stammered in disbelief. Captain Cigar sighed, calling him innocent and admitting he never realized his partner harbored such insane jealousy. "My little boy is literally at home waiting for our soccer match right now." At that exact moment, Starcloak slipped back inside the cabin. The whole cabin instantly cheered. One guy yelled, "Our dude is back. Are we actually surviving this mess?" But wait, where did the big guy go? Putting on a sad face, Starcloak claimed his partner burned all his energy trying to shield the crash, but simply could not halt the drop completely. Faking an apology, he told the terrified passengers he could only carry a handful of lucky ones to absolute safety. Then, Starcloak simply snatched up the absolute prettiest girls. Tien Dudu's bestie got scooped up too, screaming she wanted to stay behind before the so-called hero blasted off into the clouds. Everyone left trapped inside totally lost their minds. Some dude shouted, asking if they were seriously just dumped here to face their ultimate doom. The lady beside him totally panicked, crying that it was game over and they were entirely doomed. Swiping the fallen hero's signature power, Yangjai silently promised to dish out some serious payback later. He officially bagged the elite tier cigar smoke skill. Skill breakdown. It materializes absorbed fumes instantly, but you totally need an oxygen-rich zone to make it work. System review. Puffing on that stuff is totally toxic, so you really ought to drop that nasty habit fast. Peeking out the shattered glass, the crowd suddenly spotted Mr. Yangjai floating outside. Was this absolute legend seriously here to bail them out? Flexing his heavy metal manipulation, Yangjai desperately dragged out their freefall. Even so, the huge plane plummeted straight down and violently slammed into the dirt. Miraculously, the hull held together and every single person walked away untouched. The passengers went totally wild with relief, realizing they just crash-landed safely. But seriously, where was top-tier Captain Cigar? And where did Mr. Yugi vanish to? Somebody literally just spotted him. Tiendu was literally shaking, totally convinced her story was wrapping up right there. Making it out of that absolute nightmare was a seriously traumatic vibe. Suddenly, she instantly remembered Mr. Yugi. Scanning the chaotic crowd, she wondered out loud why she could not spot him if he was supposedly around. Right then, 3 rescue sirens blared into the scene. Starcloak was right ahead, totally rushing everyone. The hijacked plane had gone down, and tons of injured people supposedly needed help fast. News crews and reporters swarmed the crash zone like crazy. One reporter went live, promising constant updates from the wrecked, hijacked jet. But plot twist, nobody was actually hurt. Starcloak stepped up, acting totally shocked. "No way. Where are all the victims? I literally watched the jet dive. How did everyone make it out without a single scratch?" Tiendu then stormed over, yelling, "What did you do to them? Where the heck did you take Sister Ron and the rest?" A reporter jumped in, saying they honestly had zero clue what actually went down. Still, the jet had somehow landed perfectly. A few people spotted Mr. Yugi using his metal-bending powers. Maybe he and Captain Cigar pulled off a miracle rescue together. But after that, they vanished into thin air. Starcloak then claimed Captain Cigar was his partner and that they ran the rescue mission as a team. A reporter shoved a mic in his face, begging for the real story just to get the facts straight. Squeezing out a fake tear, Starcloak said his buddy used all his power to slow the drop, completely burning himself out until he died. He supposedly only saved a handful of people. Seeing that, Starcloak figured a massive tragedy was unavoidable. So, he totally panicked and called for medics immediately to save whoever was left, never expecting everyone to walk away perfectly fine. Suddenly, Mr. Yugi crashed the party, telling Starcloak to drop the act. "You know exactly why they're safe," Yugi yelled, floating down with Captain Cigar in his arms. He glared at Starcloak. "Here is your boy." Yugi then walked up to Tiendu, asking, Rumor has it you saved this flight. Is that straight up true? Yugi gently laid the captain down and started dropping truth bombs. He admitted he barely did a thing. The actual MVP who pulled off the impossible was Captain Cigar. Tiandu was super confused. Did the captain actually die from burning out his powers? Then what's with the massive hole in his chest? The passengers freaked out, pointing at the body. Whoa, there really is a hole. What the heck is going on? Yeah, the captain definitely didn't die from exhaustion. Someone stabbed him. Yugi spun around, glaring at Starcloak. Spill it. What really went down? Starcloak totally lost his cool, screaming at him to back off and swearing he had zero clue. Yugi just smirked. Fine, then I'll expose the actual truth. He turned to the massive crowd watching them. He revealed that Starcloak completely played Captain Cigar, luring him out under the guise of a rescue mission. After forcing him to burn through all his energy, he murdered him at his weakest point. And the proof is literally on his outfit. Check the bloodstains. You absolute fraud. One quick DNA test will expose your whole sick game. The whole crowd zeroed in on Starcloak's outfit and absolutely lost it. Oh my gosh, there really is blood. Would he seriously betray his own partner? Is he actually that twisted? Because if Mr. Yugi is lying, how else do you explain that fatal stab wound? The paparazzi swarmed him, demanding answers. Was Yugi right? Would he dare hand over his cape for testing? Starcloak muttered that he was an absolute idiot. He never imagined his flawless master plan would get completely wrecked by some random dude. The whole situation just didn't make sense. Was the guy just super lucky? Why was he always stuck in Captain Cigar's shadow? Why was his partner so much cooler anyway? Mr. Yugi pointed out that the hijackers from the 35th district looked totally shocked seeing Starcloak pure betrayal in their eyes. Yugi was dead set on the fact that Starcloak cut a shady deal with them and orchestrated the entire hijacking. Starcloak suddenly floated up, bursting into psycho laughter. Wow, you actually figured that out too? Yeah, surprise. I'm from the 35th district too. I had to sacrifice so many of my boys. And, for what? Whipping up a massive sandstorm, he screamed. These idiots from the 2nd district are trash. Now everyone's gotta die. Then came the villain origin story. He talked about this raggedy raincoat his late mom gave him when he was a kid. She convinced him that all the epic, world-saving superheroes rocked capes just like it. Starcloak grew up in the 35th district, a total wasteland without sunlight. Seeing a literal flower was like finding a holy relic. Even though he spent his whole life dumpster diving just to survive, he was perfectly happy thinking the whole world was just as messed up. Until he stumbled into District 2 and discovered that clean water was amazing. Gorgeous flowers were literally everywhere. The sky was actually blue, the clouds were pure white, but the people there were absolute garbage. The second they found out he repped Zone 35, the disrespect started. They completely clowned him and threw hands. Starcloak honestly thought he deserved the toxic treatment. But once he dug up the facts, bullying the little guys and acting totally untouchable, realizing that instantly unlocked his cape's hidden aura. So he faked an ID to stick around, quietly spilling tea with the crew from District 25. He hyped them up to cause total chaos, just so he could swoop in and play the savior. That is how our guy leveled up from a nobody to an A-tier icon. Suddenly those clowns were hyping him up. He was absolutely living for the clout, right until Captain Cigar pulled up and stole his spotlight. Starcloak totally lost his chill and tried taking everyone out, but Cigar kept playing the ultimate rescuer. Honestly though, it is a vibe. Every single hater across both zones, Cigar himself, and the whole system need canceling. They are literally all finished. Kai and Dadu straight up called him out for going entirely rogue. Like, who even is he now? He is literally acting just like the fakes he hated. Dodo spun around to face Mr. Yugi, shouting, he is absolutely unhinged and ready to end us all. Meanwhile, Mr. Yugi spotted something sketchy in that store. He clocked a whole glowing gateway, figuring out that this magical gear feeds straight off its wearer's big feelings. And after all those unalive streaks, it got fully buffed to S tier. Tien Dodo grabbed her backpack, frantically digging around. Wait, what even is S tier? I low-key need that, she asked. But nothing in her stash stood a chance against that OP gear. So what is the play here? She asked Mr. Yugi. Can you even solo this guy? Checking out his trembling fingers, she panicked. You are literally shaking. If he has you spooked, are we totally cooked? Mr. Yugi just smirked. You think I am ducking the smoke? I am not scared. I am just hyped. Mr. Ud pivoted to Starcloak, asking, so based on your little lore drop, you secretly ended District 2 locals just to vent, right? Starcloak just flexed. Yeah, I wiped out a ton of them, and all those random fanboys caught in the crossfire too.